We're here for the last and final day of the NHC, and we're kicking it off with the star of the show so far, Dan Piazza. Day one leader, day two leader, stretch your stride. How are you feeling?
Nervous. Like I explained before, I've never been here before, so everything's new.
Yeah.
Every new experience. Yep.
You have both of your entries actually. Double qualified, right? And
Double
both
qualified.
Are
Both are in the money.
you have one in first, obviously, and then where's that second one?
I think I was either 22nd or 40. Yes, I didn't really even look at that one.
So on those two entries, did you play a lot of similar horses, or did you split different?
Once, so on the first day, I had sort of similar tickets, but I had a couple of different, thoughts, and so I played both thoughts. And once one card started hitting, that's the one I sort of concentrated on, and I just, I kept my plays there. And then as I went into day two, I raised my, value plays a little bit more on the second one that wasn't doing so well, and we got lucky in that last race at Santa Anita and hit that 13 horse that came in at like 11 to 1. And that tossed me up into because I was sitting right on the borderline with it.
Awesome. We see so many people who have one really hot day, leave the tournament, and then just kind of
Everybody's trying to play a little bit of catch up, and I hit a couple of good races, and I got a lead. So hopefully that's going to help me today. I mean, I don't have to get extravagant, I don't think, with any of my picks.
No. As Alexa was pointing out, day one, you're ahead. Small margin,
4 cents.
4 cents, and that happened just towards the end of the day, right? And then day two, much different. Again, towards the end, like another big separator. So you come in today with a margin. When you're sitting there last night in your room and you're kind of thinking about what to do, were you done with your handicapping already last night? Was it more like strategy, or did you kind of look at some races last night with a different mindset now that you're on the lead, maybe versus what you would have thought a few days ago?
It was, my handicapping was done. Just went back and looked through the races, talked through the races, and I said, okay, I got conviction here, I got conviction here. Here I got conviction on 2 horses. Let's see where the odds are come race time, and we'll go make our decision then. But yeah, when I walked in this morning, I went over and put my picks in.
So is there one track today that you felt you liked a little bit more, you were going to lean on, or was it all over the place?
I follow Gulfstream, I follow Aqueduct a lot, I follow Fairgrounds. A lot of the Chicago trainers go to Fairgrounds in the wintertime, and I follow Santa Anita, so that's where I'm basically at. Maybe a couple of races at Tampa Bay if I saw an angle that we liked or I liked it. So
are you feeling pretty comfortable with that first entry that you're going to be at that final table?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too. I was conjuring that on the face, but I was like, I think he's at the final table with that first one. I think 318 is going to put you there. So
it's definitely above the number that won last year.
It is.
So if I add to it, it's all good.
Yeah. Have you had like a odds cut off this weekend? Like you wouldn't play low odds horses, or you stick with long shots, or just whatever you like?
Same way I always play. If I like a chalk, or if I like a low value horse, but I like it, I'm going to play it. That 4 cents made a difference right day one.
Yeah.
And you got the BCBC entry for being the leader at the end of day one.
Yeah, that'll be scary too.
Right? Yeah. When did it kind of just take a little step back to the beginning? How does it all start for you? How do you get into horse racing and then even into contest play?
So it wasn't my family or anything. It was a group of friends after school.
Nice.
They got me into it, and I just started hanging around. And
were you from Chicago?
Yeah, from Chicago. Grew up outside of Chicago. I live in Chicago today still.
I qualified for my first NHC at Hawthorne.
At Hawthorne?
Yeah.
Okay.
I to the Chicago people.
And there was a group of us that always went to the Derby, and then a couple of the guys that was always sort of the knowledge, they dropped out, and everybody pointed at me, and so I had fun with it, and then I saw this contest play, and I enjoy that as much as gambling, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, I really enjoy the contest play when we got to lock in our bets and we're coming to play for events like this.
You said this is your 4th year at the NHC, right?
Yes.
Have you made the cut in any of the other years?
No.
No.
300th. I think my best was 200 something.
Did you come in this year with any kind of different strategy or anything that you might have learned, or was it just, hey, you know what? Those years it really wasn't my day, and this year you've had a couple days that we all kind of.
No, I definitely every year I believe when someone comes here, you learn a thing, or you know. You're with the 800 best handicappers in the world right here. So if you talk to them, you learn new things. And I came in and I'm gonna bet the tracks that I play all the time. I'm not gonna go play a track I don't know. I don't know the connections or I don't know anything. And I'm just gonna. I'm not a big long shot guy. I'm not in comfort there, but you know, low, medium odds. Yeah, I can just consistently, you know, play that game. And in the format on these contests, you know, it's always 10 or 12 races, so that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Unless you hit 2 or 3 long shots. If you're consistent, you're always there at the top competing with the guys that are picking the 8s, the 10s, the 12s.
Well, while we were watching you, that's what you're doing. I mean, every 30 minutes, you jumped up another $20, you know, another $10. What tools, what handicapping products do you use?
Race Lens helps me get a feel for the pace and the setup of the race. Thorough Manager then helps me dive in on courses, connections, detail. I like the combination of those two, and then my third tool is DRF. Yeah.
And
I read DRF every day, so but I'm also I have forget the package's name, but there's some no, it's not Formulator, it's
all access.
All Access, yeah.
Yep.
All of them.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can move from the different styles, right? You
Right.
get the pace projector with the time form, and I'm gonna have to do the recap for DRF.com. So I hope I'm gonna be talking to you at the end of the day and getting some words for you and a quote for the article.
Wherever I finish, it'll be fun. I met my goal. All I wanted to do when I left the house and I told my wife is I just want to be in the money. That's all.
Right.
Walk us through a little bit of like the handicapping side, the concept, the kind of like emotional side of this. You said obviously you're getting pulled for lots of interviews.
Yes.
You're having this time to shine. What's that like?
It's fantastic. I mean, it just that's a good feeling. It just makes you very happy. Everybody here is a fantastic person. They all smile. They talk to you, and it's just been once in a lifetime experience right now.
Well, you deserve to be recognized. I mean, everybody in this room works really hard, tries really hard, spends so much time and energy. So you deserve it. We're rooting for you. Thanks for joining us. We won't keep you too terribly long on this morning.
Okay.
I'm sure there's lots going on, but hope to see you at the top of the leaderboard.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks
Dan.
so much, Dan.
Thanks so
It's been a
much.
Thank you
pleasure.
very much.
Thank you.
Oh, that's great. Getting a chance to talk with
Man.
the current leader
Man
who
of the hour.
has a really nice
Man of the
margin,
weekend.
right? You come in, it's gonna say like, I get goosebumps
I know.
thinking about like
Oh my
if that were you last night,
Oh my
right?
God.
Because
Yeah.
I think about like the 30 minutes between when I'm alive in a big score, in a pick 5 or like a pick 4, pick 6,
I
something
have
like that,
chills at the
and
moment.
how those 30 minutes go, and you try not to start thinking about the payouts. You try not to start looking at that kind of thing, but you can't help it. We're humans.
cannot
We're
help
not. We're not
it.
robots. So like
You're
you
looking at
look
the
in or
little
you're
things.
thinking, and then you start wondering like what you could do with the money. It's hard not to do that, but you want to stay as like low because you know anything can happen. So you want to stay as low like and even keeled
Yeah.
as possible. But
Yeah.
I mean. You know me. I don't really stay even keeled. I
No,
go high and I go low, up and down. No doubt about it.
I've been told by people, act like you've done this before, you know, when I'm in the lead or something. And I'm sorry, don't.
Sometimes
Like,
you haven't though.
just
Sometimes
enjoy
I haven't
it.
been here.
Just
That's what he
have-
said, right? It's like,
Yeah.
I've never been here before.
And I will tell you, like, I've been in the lead in a tournament for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you're coming down to the wire. Those are very intense moments.
Yeah.
Win or lose, it's
Yep.
something that is exciting. You get all the feels for sure. So
Because this game is so difficult. I mean, getting yourself to be alive for $5,000, for $10,000, for $20,000, it's hard. some people will play forever and lots of times and don't, put themselves in positions for big scores like that. So when you're sitting on $800,000 plus and you're in the lead, and I will say he seemed pretty cool, calm,
he
and
said he
collected.
put his picks in already.
Yep.
I mean, he just has a plan. He's sticking to it,
Yep.
and it's working for him. To give you some context, right now, the worst he could possibly do. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he makes the final table with that first entry. I don't think 9 people pass him this morning,
No.
and if he makes no money, if he misses all his bets, I
He's
still think he
still
probably makes
eighth
the final
or
table.
not. Yeah, at the very least.
So that 10th place is 65,000.
So today it's the top 80
It's top 80
that are all here, and they've all made $10,000 and $10, I believe.
10,010. Yeah. So if he were to get 10th place at the final table and 80th place, like just fall to the bottom of both lists, he would walk away with $75,000 plus the 10,000 BCBC seat. The worst he's doing this weekend is 85 grand.
Yeah, not
the best
bad.
he's doing is, I mean, we all know,
Yeah.
over 800 grand. So, I mean, that's just a really exciting place to be in. But you do have to think about strategy. I don't know if we can pull the leaderboard up here, if possible, for our viewers to see what's going on. But you have, how many picks did they get this morning?
So
I know the final table is 7 picks.
So we've got for today.
It's all optional races this morning. I need to look at the rules.
Yeah, I've got it. No, all optional. Semifinal races. You have to play 10 out of these 19. It's Tampa 1 through 5, Fairgrounds 1 through 3, Gulfstream 1 through 4, Aqueduct 1 through 4, and Oaklawn 1 through 3. So there's 19 possible races to choose from. In this morning section, all of the 80 players have to wager on 10 of those 19. Then they'll move to the final table where everyone's playing the same races on that final table.
It's the final 10 people.
It's the Aqueduct, Gulfstream, Tampa, Oaklawn, and Santa Anita. So you'll get a ton of different tracks there. Yeah. Not easy. You won't be able to lean on one track. Yeah. It's going to really be your handicapping expertise there.
And you think about people who are sitting in maybe 15th or 20th place, right? So 20th place right now is $212. So to get to the final table, they probably need 40 or 50 bucks at least today. And what is the strategy? Are you going to try to just get to the final table? Or are you swinging this morning to get to the lead regardless because that's what you're doing? That's your main goal. There's lots of different takes and strategies based on, I think, different people's risk profiles, what they're comfortable with. Like, I've heard a lot of people say, my goal was to just make any money. Yeah. I'm already winning. My goal was to just be here.
Make the cut. All right, get here. That was my first goal, right? Yeah. For most people. Then make the cut. Then can we get to the final table, right? Yeah. You have little stepping stones along the way. We're getting more and more people starting to tune in to the live stream for today. We'll be here for the next few hours till 12 o'clock local time, till noon local time, till 3 o'clock on the East Coast. And then we'll hand it on over to ABR. They're going to take care of the final table and everything happening there. So we'll set you up with the semifinals, and we'll be able to talk about racing starting from Tampa in just about 13 minutes, I believe, and then Gulfstream Park not long after that. Just some of the details from what's been going on this weekend, and then we can kind of get into some handicapping. So record cash and prizes totaling $4.8 million, including more than $3 million in cash prizes. And then they've got a bunch of seats that they give away, like we were just pointing out. Dan earned a BCBC seat for being the day 1 leader. There's another prize for the day 2 leader, and then other stuff.
Which I really like that.
Me too.
Because it makes sense. I love the day money and these tournaments. Same online on horse tourneys. Often now in those big cash tournaments, they'll have some day money. And because like what I was saying to Dan, you can have a really fire day and then just like totally,
And at least if it's your day.
At least you get something. Like if you have your day on one of the biggest days, I do think it makes sense that you get a prize, So I really like that they're doing that. I think it's a great thing to keep doing. I think the top 3 people got something, 10,000, 5,000, 3,000.
Yep, for yesterday.
That BCBC, which is the other biggest tournament out there. Other than this, it's a different take. This is a mythical tournament where you're just picking one horse in each race to get a imaginary $2 win place bet on them, where the BCBC is a $10,000 buy-in. You get $7,500 on your bankroll. $2,500 goes to the prize pool, and it's a huge prize pool. I think I covered it, not this year, but last year at Santa Anita. And the winner, if I remember, left with $641,000 between the prize money and his bankroll. So that's a big. I played in that one a number of times. It's really fun. It's intense. Obviously, Breeders' Cup has some of the biggest pools, wagering pools that we see all year long. So there's just so much value. There's lots of foreign horses in there. You get crazy prices. So that's a really fun tournament. If you're watching this and you're starting to catch the tournament bug and you're like, I really want to get involved, that's a really fun one to do. Obviously, it's a big buy-in, but you can win in on I've won in on $50 or $25 playing online. You kind of, you play a feeder for 25, you win that, you move up a rank for 500, you move up a rank for the whole $10,000 entry. So there's ways to do it.
Could also mention there's a free contest today for anyone that is an NTRA member but is not made the final day, right? Or did not qualify for NHC. So if you didn't qualify this year,
all the goodies are out.
Yeah, right?
Everyone
here isn't in that tournament. Yeah. So if you're at home, you were an NTRA member, and you were wanting to get qualified, you missed qualifying this year, maybe you didn't play it enough, go right now. Try to get qualified.
The membership is $50 a year, which is a small price to pay to be involved in this awesome community with all these opportunities and people to meet. But the tournament itself is free. So make sure you sign up first for the NTR membership on their website, because if you win this thing and you don't have a membership, you're disqualified, and that would be a damn shame, because this tournament will be pretty hard. There's going to be a lot of people in it since it is a free. I'm trying to look right now how many entries are currently in it. Let's see. Right now there are over 1,500 people in this tournament. But the top 5 people get a free NHC seat for next year. So, I mean, it's definitely kind of a shot in the dark.
Yeah, but take advantage of all these opportunities.
Bialek, who we had, the girl who collects has
I can feel them, again, every time you say it, they're crawling.
The girl with the pet tarantulas qualified on one of those free tournaments. So, I mean, obviously, people get here that way. Somebody's got to win it. So, you can definitely log on and do that today. It goes off at, it's a pick and pray, which means all your selections for the entire tournament have to be put in before the first race goes. And the first race goes off at 3:48 Eastern or 12:48 Pacific. So there's still a lot of time. There's still 3 hours.
If you're just hearing us right now, you still have plenty of time.
Plenty of time to handicap. It's only 7 races, which is a really, really short tournament. Usually,
especially for that many entries.
Yeah, the free ones are usually 15 races because there's so many people. So, it's only 7 races. The first one's Aqueduct Race 7 with a scheduled post time at 3:48.
So if you're watching and you're hanging out on the YouTube channel with us, leave us a comment, say hello, especially if you want to leave any selections or ask any questions. Mike Carmoli says hello, and then Jeff Wilson says good morning. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll be here for the next few hours with you. I will say, Alexa, as I was handicapping the races and kind of going over my stuff last night, I'm normally someone who would play a lot of Gulfstream and Santa Anita. Those are the tracks that I think I do well at. I kind of find the most prices. Today, the early part of the card, I thought Gulfstream looked kind of chalky. It does look kind of formful, at least to me. I couldn't get as big of a grasp on it. So for me, I was like, I was getting nervous, even though I'm not in the tournament. I was like, if I would be right now, I would have gotten a little nervous, because that was a track that I normally lean on, and I didn't really love it. I did think there were some opportunities, though, at Tampa, which is not necessarily a track that I always lean on. We can head over to Tampa and take a look, because horses are actually coming out onto the track for the post parade right now. They're just leaving the paddock area, 8 minutes to post for race number 1 at Tampa. And what was nice,
that's what happened before you hop into the race. That's what happened last year in this tournament. It was so chalky on Sunday morning. I think that's what happens a lot of years in this tournament. There's just not as big of prices on Sundays.
And honestly, most of the cards, the early races in the cards, are the least enticing betting races.
Yeah.
Shorter fields. They save the bigger races for the late pick 4 or late pick 5 and the feature. So usually those early parts of the cards are the least enticing part. And so if you're in a room like this and you're trying to move up and down, it was really difficult. So
this race is an example of that. We have a 2 to 5. Is that what it is currently? 2 to 5 favorite
on the 3.
I don't know if anybody's beating this horse. Do you think this horse can be beat? Do you know?
And I probably. There's one horse I would give a look to, and what's funny, this horse is taking a ton of money early on. It's the number 5, who is currently 5-1 right now. That is True Honey.
Yeah.
The one way I think you might be able to beat Miggy, who's 3-5, Miggy's been forwardly placed in some of the races, but I wouldn't necessarily say she's fast.
Yeah.
Right? She's kind of gotten the lead in races where they've been going 24 and change, 48 and change, and 49 to the half. So we're not necessarily talking about blazing fractions. I think if I was going to take a swing in this race, I would look to the 5. She's coming out of 3 sprint races, and each of the races she's shown improvement. And in that most recent start, she showed a lot more early speed. I think the game plan has got to be, let's try to get her out of the gate. Let's try to open up. You look at the other 4 horses in the field. The one, Women's Prerogative, has not shown any speed early on in 3 starts. The 2, Second, hasn't shown any speed in races going longer. The 4, Fortune Dreams, hasn't shown any early speed. And the 6, Nobly, hasn't either. I think it's going to really come down to the 3 and the 5 for who gets the lead. And if the 5 can kind of get out front, clear by a length, slow things down a little bit, I think that's the chance you have to upset the favorite.
Well, and that is what the Time From US Pace Projector predicts, is the 5 to be the pace setter. It doesn't predict for him to hang on and wire the field. It does have actually the 2 Seconds as the likely winner, or Secord as the likely winner, which is kind of an interesting pick. Morning line 5-2, currently 7-1 odds. I don't know if it'll stay that. We'll see.
Especially because Miggy
down a little bit
was 5 lengths in front of Secord when they raced last time out, and I didn't know if there was like legitimate excuses for Secord that day, who finished 4th when Miggy was 2nd. And Miggy also has more tactical speed and kind of more positional speed. So
yeah, I think Miggy is going to be really tough to beat here. If I try to make a case for Secord, I can say, I mean, we have a new trainer on board, only been out once with this trainer. You know, you have some running lines in here. The horse was a bit rank, you know, potentially difficult to control. I mean, maybe with a new trainer, they will be able to unlock something, but this horse definitely looks like its happy place is on the grass. I mean, its better races, her better races, seem to be on the grass, at least from a speed figure standpoint. So I'm not sure, you know, coming back to the dirt here, if that is the right move, but I could see somebody who's really searching for a price. If you don't like Miggy, I could see trying to beat it with this horse.
So the Chalkbuster Scott likes the number 6 Nobly as a long shot thrown in there. And Scott also says that he asks how he can get a DRF hat. So I'm going to do this, Scott, right now, and I will actually send you one, but I'm going to give you some homework to do. You need to first subscribe to the YouTube channel below, and then this week coming up, one of the videos that I do, I want you to comment on that video. That's all you have to do. Subscribe, then comment on one of the videos you see me doing on a race preview this week on the YouTube channel. We'll send you a DRF hat.
I love this.
Boom. How's that sound? So
hat.
Come and help us out.
They are nice hats.
They are. Absolutely.
I can wear one today. I had a ponytail on yesterday, so I couldn't put one of these bad boys on, but check this out.
Yeah. It looks great.
All right.
Looks great.
All right.
Okay, so as we get set for Tampa Bay Downs,
how long do we have for the race
number,
to go?
it's only 3 minutes to race number 1 at Tampa Bay Downs. So you know what?
Let's hang on.
We can probably hang on, show the race, and then we'll go to a player profile. We have one already queued up with good buddy, Ice Cold Dave Weaver, Ice Cold Exactas. I was talking with some of our DRF head honchos yesterday, and one of the things when you're working with someone, when you get to go on a trip, you always like expedite the process of getting closer with people.
Yeah,
Right? Like
yeah.
that's how, you know, you can work with people for a long time, but once you go somewhere and you eat a couple meals with people and you go out, you get much closer. That happened with me and Dave when we were working at TVG. It was TVG back then. We were always fine, you know, but he was working out Los Alamitos a lot of the time. I'd be in the studio. We didn't really work together. But then one time we were scheduled to go to Presque Isle for the Presque Isle Masters and the Mile, and we were out there and we just had like so much fun, and we have so many inside jokes that we'll still like text each other from then. And then after, I'd be at Del Mar and I'd be driving home and I'd stop at Los Alamitos a lot of the times and like bet an early pick 4 with him on my way back, or I'd come from Del Mar and cash a ticket and I'd say, okay, Dave, you get a free roll on the pick 4 here. Tell me who's it going to be. So he's awesome. He's like a great guy and like a really good guy to be in Vegas with, because he'll sit down at any table with you, play any game with you. If you can wager on it, Dave's up for it.
He's
Yeah,
ready for it.
exactly.
I love that. What's your game of choice in Vegas outside of horses? Mine is blackjack.
So
Also, a little bit of a sucker for the slots.
yeah, I actually like to, when I'm sitting for a little while, and play video poker.
Okay, video poker's fun.
Because
It's,
I'll
like,
just chill
pretty
there
consistent.
with my drink for a while, like,
Yeah.
and I'll sit for like a nice hour and kind of mess around with it. That's
Yeah.
that's the one I go to. I mean, obviously, I like to be in the sports book as much
Yeah.
as possible and bet on some games. And what's nice is that by the time we're finished here, the brackets are going to be out for March Madness, which is going to start later this week. So I might be able to play a few future wagers on teams.
Stop entertainment.
before I
And
leave.
will say, one of my projects that I've been working on at DRF is launching the sports betting portion of our website. So we have a new tab on our website that says sports betting, and it's a whole hub. We have information on a lot of different states, the sports betting status in them, information on all the different sports books. We have offers to sign up where you can get crazy money, like thousands of dollars in bonuses.
They give you
and
reviews on all of the sports books, so you know which one fits the way I bet, or like, you know, I've gotten a promotional code, or I haven't had success with that one. Every Tuesday and Friday, I do best bets.
Yeah.
Well, NBA plays right now, and we're going to start making videos of some of those plays too. So if you're a sports bettor,
We just launched odds.
and this
last
was
week,
you.
too.
This was a
Yes.
big thing that you did. You were like huge in getting this partnership out there, because there's so many horse players that are sports bettors, and now with sports betting becoming legal all over the place, we just want to give you some of the tools
We want to
to help you
provide
out.
one-stop shop for our customers where they can get all the information for both sports and horses. So yeah, now we have sports odds on our site right now. It's really cool. So check out that tab on drf.com/sports betting.
Final thoughts on the opener here at Tampa.
I mean, I really think the favorite's going to win.
So you're sitting here. You qualified last year. You're not playing
I'm
this
not
race.
playing this race.
Yeah.
I'm not playing this race. I mean,
And it's one of those where it's like the first race, you don't have to feel forced to play it because it's the first one coming up, right? You want to get that action, and you're nervous. You've been thinking all night. You made the cut. It's like, feels like it's been forever till you had a chance to play. So if
would
I'm
you play
playing,
it in the tournament?
I don't think so. I don't think so. True Honey, if I was forced to make a play, like if this was a Mando, I would go to the 5.
Oh, a
The problem
Mando, I
is-
like that.
Mando.
Yeah.
I think Mandalorian there, but mandatory also, so it's a double meaning there. But True Honey, let's get aggressive with the 5. That would be my play if I was forced to
If
play this
somebody's
race.
going to wire the field,
I think it's a
going to
5.
be the 5.
True Honey. So
Maybe the pace will set up for that.
let's head on out to Tampa Bay Downs. Jason B.
Pink colors, who gets a little bit closer in third. Then comes Fortune Dreams. Secord tries to advance from fifth in the white cap, about 6 or 7 off the top. It's another 5 back to Woman's Prerogative, who's now last. 24-1 that opening quarter mile, 48-1 the opening half mile. Nobly going to take him to the far turn. Miggy getting closer now from second, just 3/4 of a length back, and now here's Miggy right up alongside as they run to the 3/8 pole. Those two have gotten away now by 4.5 or 5. Secord trying to rally up on the outside of Fortune Dreams. They're together third and fourth. They're 5 or 6 clear of True Honey, and Woman's Prerogative still the trailer as Miggy takes over. The big favorite Miggy taking the lead here at the quarter pole. Now in front by a length and a half, now almost 2. On the inside, Nobly trying to battle on. Secord is still running on. Is third, drawn within 5 as Miggy turns for home. A confident Sammy Camacho on board. It's Miggy to the 8th pole, in front now by 5. Secord trying to get past Nobly. They're second and third. Secord now has gone into second. Woman's Prerogative's back into the bit, is up to 4th, but a final 16th to go, and the battle for first is all over. It's Miggy at 2-5, going to win this one by about 10 or 11 in the end. Miggy cruises home. Secord was second, third Woman's Prerogative, 4th Nobly.
To beat, and nobody did.
3, 2, 1. Miggy, Miggy, Miggy. Can't you see? Sometimes your wins just hypnotize me. So, not a whole lot of movement there.
I live for the Gino Serenades throughout the broadcast.
There's always going to be one or two, coming up, just to keep you on your toes. Scott asked, for today's NHC, is it just the final table qualifiers betting on the 7 races? No. So there's a semifinal section. Right now, we have 80 people. So this was the top 10% of the entries that made it from day 1 and day 2. So it was 823 entries, I think.
Oh, was it? I think it was 800.
800. Oh, we had 800 entries, and we went down to
80.
80 exactly. So the 10% down, and we're the final 10%. They're all paid. Everybody that's here today makes at least 10,000, and they have 19 races to choose from. They got to pick 10 in this morning section from a lot of the tracks that are running. Then once you make it to the final 10, then it's the same races for everybody at that final table.
There's another cut today at whenever, in a couple hours.
I think around 1-ish local time, right around that time.
Yeah, and then only the top 10 move on. So it is an all-out battle this morning to secure your spot. And then it's just the 10, and that's exciting. Like Gino said, we'll be broadcasting on ABR's channels for the final table. You can follow on that. All the races are a little spread out so that everybody has time between them. There's a lot of TV production in here, interviewing of people.
You're watching people watching their races, because it's very,
They bring all of them up to the middle risers to watch the races, and it's a very exciting moment. It's a very exciting moment.
We have Gulfstream Park coming up in just 2 minutes, which is crazy because we're sitting here going through our show and we're getting our rundown ready, and we're talking about how the first 40 minutes, there's not a whole lot of racing. We're already up to, 50 minutes through because we got a great interview with Dan, and we were able to get into Tampa Bay Downs. Now at Gulfstream Park with race 1 coming up, I was mentioning I didn't find a whole lot of big prices early on the card. I thought the 8, Alexa, was going to be tough, just getting some class relief here. This is a horse has some of the best overall synthetic form and has some versatility too, has speed, but has also shown us that they can pass horses. 5-2 isn't the biggest price in the world. Did you have someone with more value you might have been looking at?
Yeah, I was looking at the number 1, Hot Bottom Girl. This horse was bumped at the Star last time out. I think, this trainer, Kelly Blake, that's a small trainer. I don't recognize that name. Do you recognize that name? Kelly Blake?
No, small.
Kelly? Well, rock on, Blake Kelly. So they do really well on the synthetic, and I don't know. I think that's the pace setup should work for Hot Bottom Girl. And right now, from a contest standpoint, when it does look fairly chalky this morning, this mare is offering 7-1 odds. Morning line 10-1, so ticking down a little bit. But yeah, Hot Bottom Girl is one that I was looking at.
So the 1 offering a little bit of value. Would this be a race you would maybe play?
Maybe.
Yeah, it's still kind of early too, right? You don't want to feel too
Well, you got to play
forced.
half of them.
Yeah,
Honestly.
so you
gotta
don't,
play
and you
half
don't
of
want to
them.
wait too long,
Yeah.
right? And then you're at this position where you have to play all the races that are left,
Yeah.
especially if you're not someone who's, familiar with fairgrounds, right? And they've got 3 races coming up. We know they had bad weather yesterday too, so you may not want to lean on a track like that where things could go wrong. 5 to 2
I
on the
might
outside.
play it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is something where I think, from a class standpoint, probably a better placing for this horse. Let's see, but the 6 is the favorite at
Even money right
1 to
now.
1.
Ragtag Girl.
Ragtag Girl.
So quick, do you do an exacta of the girls?
Yeah.
You go from the hot bottom girl
to
the ragtap girl.
I can't
Da-dunch.
say what I was gonna say. Yeah, I mean, I think that would be a decent play where you can get some value out of this race with an intimidating favorite. I think that makes sense. I'm trying to see if there's anybody else in here that you would add to it to maybe make a try.
The 8-horse Blinging Burr will probably have the full force of the Bill Burr fans out there. He's been in the news as of late. Never one that shies away from some public commentary there. Blinging Burr on the outside is currently 2 to 1 up on the board. So they're getting set here.
No, I don't
Last thoughts before we send it on over to Pete Aiello?
Let's send it to the 7 to the 1 at 7 to 1 or 8 to 1. I think that given this morning's race, this is a decent value play, and I would box. You know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to box the 1 and the 6.
There you go.
And an exacta.
Alexa's going to put a little play in there. I lean towards the 8 Blinging Burr. Shout out to Bobby Salzano, who's checking in with us this morning. Bobby!
We love Bobby.
He did well. Timothy Snell also checks in yesterday. So thanks so much, all of you, for hanging out with us. Got to give a shout out to our production crew over here. Lucia pulling the strings. Mike, the main man, Mike. Bobby over there. Bobby's been awesome all weekend long. Bobby's new to the DRF team, so it's been great getting to hang out with him this weekend in Vegas. And then Rich, who's now back home, who's out here with us all this weekend, getting this all set up. Big thanks to all of you.
And you.
Oh, thank you. And you. And you. Hey. All of us. Let's hope
teamwork makes the dream work.
We lead you to a winner right here at Gulfstream. Whoever you play, however you play them, we wish you the best of luck.
The horses are at the gate. It's now post time. Moving in for the Sunday opener from Gulfstream, race favorite is number 6, Ragtap Girl, under jockey Edwin Gonzalez. Second choice is number 8, Blinging Burr. Christian Mirage up for Carlos David. Third favorite, 5, Wider Than a Mile, Joe Bravo for Antonio Sano. 10 races in total today. The Rainbow Six starts with race 5. There is a mandatory payout today. Draw on the outside, Blinging Burr will complete the line. Tracks are fast. Turf is firm. We're set for a start. Racing at Gulfstream. From the center, Fashionable Kitty gets the first call and goes looking for the early advantage from Blinging Burr, who comes away in second. Moving out the rail, Ave Phoenix into the top flight. The favorite is between horses, Ragtap Girl. Out a bit deep on the course, Anonymous Source in front of Hot Bottom Girl. The early trailer is Wider Than a Mile. In the run around the first turn, Fashionable Kitty has a challenge from Blinging Burr, who moves up on the outside. In between horses, Ragtap Girl is now a joint third with Anonymous Source on her outside. Ave Phoenix is toward the rail in front of Hot Bottom Girl, and the trailer Wider Than a Mile. The opening quarter complete in 25 and 2. It's a reasonable pace. They're less than 5/8 from home. Striding clear, Blinging Burr on top now by 3 for Christian Mirage. Fashionable Kitty is second. Anonymous Source now races in third. Racing at the inside, that's the favorite, Ragtap Girl. She's in the white blaze and has to kick through at the inside. Out wide on the course goes Hot Bottom Girl on a backstretch blitz for Henry. The 2 at the back, Wider Than a Mile, and Ave Phoenix. They swing now to the far turn. They went 48 and 3 for a half mile. So Blinging Burr did some serious work in the second quarter and has the lead.
Hot Bottom Girl is second. This odds-on favorite, Ragtap Girl, better pick up her feet. She's third at the inside, engaged for that position by a moving up wider than a mile. Anonymous Source is next as they reach the top of the stretch. 3/4, 1:12 and 3. They're on their way home. Blinging Burr still has the lead. To the attack, Hot Bottom Girl far outside, wider than a mile, then Ragtap Girl. They're a furlong from the finish. It's Hot Bottom Girl striding forward to take the lead. From the inside, Blinging Burr, then wider than a mile, and the favorite who has been defeated, Ragtap Girl, to the wire. Hot Bottom Girl will win it under Wesley Henry. Wider than a mile appeared to get second from Blinging Burr third, and 1:42 and 1.
Here with a good friend of mine. Many days that
Indeed.
we've worked together. Dave Weaver from FanDuel TV.
Good to see you, Gino.
You're here for the big weekend. It's NHC weekend, so you're going to be doing some coverage and hopefully getting into the NHC as well.
Yes.
What's your horse racing origin story? How did you get involved from the very beginning?
Me?
Yeah, for you, because when you're at school and you're a kid and you're playing baseball, some people can get into baseball. Horse racing's different, right? It's a little bit unique. What's your story?
I grew up in Cypress. So Cypress, California is where Los Al is, and when and you know this probably being close to Santa Anita, when you grow up by a racetrack, there's a lot of people that say, hey, we're going to the racetrack tonight. You want to come? Yeah, I'll go with you. And you just get the bug, you know. We grow up the track and we go and we love it. We come back. In high school, I was going a lot. In college, stopped that a little bit early to go work in horse racing. But I grew up literally probably not a stone's throw from Los Al, but I was not born into it because my dad passed away when I was 9. I know he liked to gamble and he loved to come here to Vegas because that's what all my relatives tell me. But I know he's probably the one that got me into it. And then from there, it was just grabbing onto friends and friends' parents that wanted to go, and I was hooked, yeah.
So we all saw you for many years doing the quarters, and now you've kind of expanded. Now you're doing some sports betting stuff too for FanDuel. But when we're talking about handicapping the races, I remember when we were at TVG, we would always be looking at the DRF past performances and stuff. What are some of the things that you look at? Like, what are some of the things that jump out to you when you're handicapping looking for?
So one of the things that is kind of caught on me a little bit more now than later is like improvement, like improving patterns.
Yep.
So to use DRF as an example,
the buyers.
If you see a buyer go from 65 to 73 to 90, maybe they're going to run a 101 next time out, maybe they're not. But if you see not just a one-time jump, but like a 2 or 3 times improvement, then I'm looking for horses that are kind of in a cycle. Horses are going bad, they're going bad.
Yep.
They're not all of a sudden going to magically be better, So I'm looking for horses that are trending in the right direction, and sometimes those are not the favorites either, because they might be 7th, 6th, 5th, but their numbers are still getting better.
That's the key.
It's not like they're winning.
But just the gradual incremental improvement,
yep.
Little by little. So you've been playing the races for a long time. When did you start getting into the contest a little bit? I know they had some at Los Al, right? Is that what got you into it?
This NHC is incredible. I'm trying to qualify as we speak. There's a race probably going on right now that I have a 13 to 1 and that might peek over the corner of my eye. But I think I've been in like 4 or 5 times out of the last 7 or 8 years. But Los Al I've qualified, Santa Anita I've qualified. Online I haven't had as much luck. A lot of these people qualify in horse tourneys and horse players. Those are a little bit not my style.
Well, can I make a suggestion why? It's because everybody knows who you are. You're so intimidating.
Right.
In the live contest, they get scared of Dave Weaver. They see Dave Weaver coming, and they're shaking in their boots. Give us a good, either a contest or a good hit story, like a big win, a big pick 4 or pick 5, something that you remember that you hold on to.
So the last decent contest that I won was at Santa Anita. It was.
Oh, you had the big check. I saw you. I
had the big check. Yeah, that was actually for the BCBC.
Oh yeah.
Which unfortunately I'm ineligible to play for because I work in ADW, but I'm eligible to sell that for the value. So, anyways, I won 10 grand basically,
nice.
And I went all in the last race. I think you started the contest with 500, 300, 500. And I built it up like 750-ish, and there was like a 9 or 10 to 1 shot I bet it all, ended up with like 7,800 or close to 8,000, and it was enough to win it. So that's the thing about those contests. You need to be able to have the whatever to push it all in. These are $2 win and place mythical, which is fine. Like some people, that's their thing.
But it's not much about the strategy, the wagering strategy, about your tries or
It's
how
about
you're going to play.
your brain being able to tell you, I need to bet it all.
Yeah.
And most people can't do that.
Yeah, and that's, I will say one thing, win or lose, about you that you've always been able to do. When you're going to have a good
Just
day,
lose all my money?
lose
Yeah,
all
you're
your
right.
money. But when you have a good day, it's a great day. When it's a bad day, you have a bad. But you make sure that if your opinion is right, you're going to capitalize on it. That's one thing I've noticed from you. And then right now, are you still playing a lot of like pick fours, pick fives? Is that the wagers that you're shooting for the
Yeah,
most part?
I'm in a bit of a slump as far as that goes, but I'll play it all. You know, I actually went back and looked at my account history, and Superfectas was one of my best bets. And I never bet supers, and I'm like, well, why don't I just bet more of that? So whatever you're doing out there, if it's not working, do what's working,
Yeah.
right? Like if you're good at making win bets, make win bets. If, you're not winning in pick fives, don't bet pick fives.
You can find your wagering history and your information really easy nowadays. So, Dave, we've got your focus for a while. I know you got a big race coming.
Well,
Good luck
I'm
to you.
going to lose. Don't worry. Don't worry about that.
okay.
I'm 0 for 2 on the day already.
Okay, well, again,
Great to see you, my
great to
man.
see you. Good luck. Love chatting with you anytime. Dave Weaver, we're going to be following along with him on FanDuel TV.
We're joined by a friendly, familiar face. Probably a lot of. I actually just had to ask Ellis what his title is with Equibase because he just does everything. But national racing analyst Ellis Starr is joining us here. Ellis, you're in the semifinals.
I know, it's pretty amazing. I'm very pleased. It's all downhill from here, I think. You know, it's pretty fun. And yeah, I mean, it was great. I got to 24th and watching the board at the end, thinking, oh darn, with all some of the prices that came in, but I ended up 30th and a little over $200, and I couldn't be happier.
30th is a good place.
I couldn't be happier if I put both my entries in. The other one had 105. So
Was this the first year you were double qualified?
now last year I was double qualified too.
Okay.
Last year, if you remember, it was like I knew how to do it, but last year I got to 70th after day one. I had a $100 goal. I hit 100, and I hit a 30-to-1 shot on day two, and I was like 35th, and then I whiffed on my last 7 plays, and I ended up about $15 out of the cut last year.
Pain and suffering.
And then we had a great discussion with some great guys. You probably know John Gaspard,
Yeah.
AJ Benton.
Yeah.
And I said, should I have played for prices or just made points? And they had totally different opinions.
Everybody has a
Yeah,
different approach.
you got to take a little from each of them, right?
Yeah,
Like
and that's exactly what I did yesterday. I played for points in some races. I actually took a couple of even money shots because I had a lot of optionals. They both ran off the board, so I thought that was free $6, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
But then then I got a 3-to-1, a 7-to-2, and I got the 11-to-1 in the Santa Ana Stakes at the Santa Ana.
So will you be doing that
Oh,
again
yeah, go ahead.
today? Like taking even money, taking anything, or are you shooting for it?
Because we have 10 optional plays from the 19 races, there'll be a few where I'm just going to go for the points.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, 2-to-1, 9-to-5, I'll take the points.
And some of the earlier races were those types of races.
Oh, yeah,
They weren't the
absolutely.
great, like the biggest fields.
No.
And as we were pointing out, a lot of times that's how the cards are structured, right? You get the
Yeah.
better feature races later in the card for like the late pick 4s and late pick 5s.
Absolutely.
So Ellis, when did you get into playing contests?
Oh, I've been playing contests. Oh, geez, when dinosaurs roamed the earth, I like to say.
So for a while.
I remember when I was living in California, we used to come out for the contest at Sam's Town, and that was maybe 20 years ago. I met like Dave Goodfriend at the time and a bunch of other great people. This must have been, 20 odd years ago. Some contest, and then that was, well, you had to travel. There was no online contest then, and doing that, and then when Derby Wars started, I played. My first big score was their first year. They had a Belmont Day contest, $30,000 purse, $10,000 to first, and I got lucky, and I said I like this, and so been doing it ever since. It's like everybody just having fun.
Yeah. Well, you're having fun and you're working here, so you're doing kind of the double whammy.
One of my colleagues is taking over today. I told him.
Ben?
I told him, yeah, Ben.
Ben's a good one.
Give you the chance to focus on the big
Yeah,
money.
well, especially with these races are all within an hour and a half now, really.
Yeah.
So there's like if you could miss one if you're not paying attention to the board because all 4 tracks are going at the same time.
When you're not playing contests, what types of wagers are you making, and like what kind of a bettor are you? What are some of the things you might be looking at when you
Yeah,
play
no, that's a
races?
great question because everybody knows it's totally different when you're playing contests. I'm a win better and a double pick 3 better. Occasionally I pick 4, but win and double pick 3 because all my analysis, the blogs I do, I always put fair odds on every of my contenders, not every horse. And so I just look for the overlays among my third pick maybe. So mostly I win better, but then there's always value because there's only one takeout, of course, in the pick 3. So I bet doubles and pick 3s quite a bit.
And I've seen you and just interacting with you and doing some shows with you in the past. You really will play any horse that you think is the right price in that race. I've seen you play and talk about, like you said, heavy favorites that you thought were the right spot, but then on the flip side, I've seen you talk about 25 to 1 shots on that. So I do respect that because I think a lot of people kind of have their comfort zone where they're playing as big of prices, but you're willing to go for whatever you think the race brings you.
I recommend to people, I kept records for a while, I don't now, but if you have enough confidence in your stuff, it hurts, and you have to have the contrarian approach to say, hey, this horse shouldn't be 20 to 1.
Yep.
I mean, on my I don't know if it's on my Twitter profile, on one of my profiles, I think it's my Podbean profile. I still have last year when I picked Dornock in the Belmont. Everybody was off him at that point.
Yeah.
He should be about 5 or 6 to 1, and he was 18 to whatever he was. So it's not about just trying to get the price. It's my mentor, the late Dick Mitchell, taught me good bets, bad outcome. You're not saying excuse, you might have mishandicapped the race, but if you make a good bet and it doesn't work, it doesn't mean it was a bad bet.
And sometimes a winning bet wasn't a good bet.
That's correct.
No, and I mentioned this yesterday too, so I don't want to sound like a broken record for anyone watching. Go ahead. Yeah.
You're okay. You're okay.
I think we have 4
He's gonna
minutes.
play Tampa, and so we want to make sure we give him enough time.
We'll get you out of here in about
Another 2 minutes.
2 or 3 minutes. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you
Sorry,
got a lot to focus on. Don't be sorry. What you were saying is great though, because that is one thing I have done myself in the last few years is be more confident in your opinion. You trust yourself. You're going to have your good days. Make sure that when you do, you've wagered correctly.
Right.
You've made the wagers you want. Because, Ellis, there's so many things that happen once that starting gate opens that we're not in control of. You could get a bad trip. Your horse could be in a different spot. You could run second. You could win and get DQ'd. There's a million ways to lose. But at least I know when the race starts, I feel comfortable 99% of the time right now that I made the right wager, right?
Yeah, Alexa knows I do a lot of fan education at Keeneland with groups, and some people never go to the track, and they ask about it, and I say, look, I can look at a race, you can look at a race. We know if you run the race 100 times, X, Y, Z might happen. When that gate opens, it's a one-off event.
Yep.
And the only way to make up for that is to have a strong opinion and maybe take a price, because, again, a favorite can get in traffic trouble.
Variables, right?
All the things that a horse can feel crappy or really good and brave on a lead and, be a big price. So I said that one of my mottos, I think it's on my cards, people that know me know it's often wrong, never in doubt. And it's tough because you got to put up with a lot of, when you have a bad outcome, like, what happened? But, just have confidence when you're betting the race and the contest too, just have confidence.
Well, you're
Ellis,
bringing a confident guy. I know you're probably maybe going to play Tampa. Can you give us a horse to root for?
I don't remember. It's on my seat.
All right.
I really don't. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
We
I can look at the PPs real quick. I might remember the horse's name, but I don't know.
Anything ringing a bell?
No.
Well,
sorry.
we know your
That's
name
okay,
on that
we're
list.
Oh wait, I feel the one maybe the O'Connell. The other O'Connell. Yeah, the
Manor
one Manor
Prospector.
Prospector. Yeah, shipping over from Gulfstream.
Yes.
That's an angle for me. So.
Ellis, give us your information too. Where do we follow you on social media if we want to check out?
Google me. It's at Ubercapper on X and Blue Sky. And if you Google me, I do blogs for a couple of ADWs. I don't want to mention them because they're competitors with you guys. They do a great job.
It's like you've done this before, right? You know what you're doing.
Just Google at Ubercapper. You'll find out my blogs. And I do blogs like 4, 5, 6 races a week, plus the race of the week for Equibase. You can find that. It's always a graded stakes if we do it. And I'm fairly active on social medias.
And with Keeneland coming up, you're probably excited too. I know you play a lot over there, and you do really well there at Keeneland too. So
it's a lot of fun. But again, you get a lot of those, especially in the spring, a lot of maiden races with 2-year-olds, and you could just either the chalk wins or something really random happens.
Well, even if you don't end up making it to the final table, you got a DRF hat at least.
Thank
so
you.
There you go. We got
Appreciate
you,
guys.
We got you something.
And at least 10 grand.
Yeah, at least on top of that. So Ellis,
Yes.
great work this weekend, and
Thank
wish
you.
you the best of luck today.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much.
Uber Capper, everybody.
We're here with Rob and Jimmy, and we're getting ready for NHC this weekend. So it's a family affair, right? You guys play together, help each other out?
Yeah, man. We got like other family who are not here right now. They're on the way. Well, we were here first, you know, because we like to take, you know, we like to do more handicapping than probably everybody else does.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? Because they were like, oh, I think that'd be too much coming for the first chance, last chance, and go after the seat, you know, at the same time. But me and him, we'll just dive into like 2,000 PPs.
Glutton for punishment,
You know what I
right?
mean? We're like a glutton for punishment. We don't sleep, man.
No.
So,
You know?
how'd you guys get into racing, right? Because it's a little different than other sports and other stuff. There's usually like an in. What was your in?
Yeah, so
Your kids.
Yeah, as kids, you know, our grandfathers, you know, took us to the track.
Yep.
And then, you know, they were helping us do our schoolwork, right?
Homework first.
Yo, homework
Then you
first.
handicap.
I think my grandfather's the one that got me through high school. But anyway, you know, so you know, we would go to track with them, and we would always wonder, yo, why are they yelling at the TV so loud? You know what I mean? And then me and Jimmy would collect like you know, the program when my grandfather would like get mad and toss it away, and we'd say, what's these markings?
Who are they?
You know, what are they?
betting?
Yeah, who they
What are
betting? What are they doing? And then one thing led to another. We took it seriously. You know, you get into like he's the software geek and number cruncher. You know,
It's probability.
yeah, a little probability. I look into like, you know, some of the tote, you know, where the money's going. I like some workouts. I play some workouts and stuff like that. So
bloodlines are important. Bloodlines are important.
You know, and that's how it was, man.
So when you guys aren't playing contests, what types of wagers do you play?
Oh, that's cool.
You into pick fives, pick sixes,
Yeah,
those
yeah.
types of things?
So I'm a
And
big
if
double
you like
guy.
a horse, you got to go straight up too.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Sometimes.
which my cousin reminded me today. He said, Rob, you already know what to do. And when he tells me that, I tell him I like a horse. Like I like the horse. I had 200 to win on him today. 4-1. Nothing big, nothing crazy.
4-1.
He said to me like this, don't be playing around. You know what to do. So when he says that, I run, and that means a $200 flat win bet.
Boom.
Boom.
You got
Now,
your
You got
your
money to
spoken
play
language,
with.
right?
You got money to play
I
with.
caught a 45 to 1, 20 across the board because he says, please tell me that you didn't just have a contest bet. So, you know, which I did have it in the contest, but he made sure, that's what I love about having family with you. He makes sure that, you know, the bets are in the pocket.
Exactly.
You know?
So when you guys, you talked about a few different things.
Yeah.
When you're doing your research, what are some of the things you're looking for?
All right, so once again, so he yeah, you might as well talk for yourself there.
Of course. Bloodline is important, right? You want to see what they look like when they're coming in today. Now we're tournament play, right? Money's on the side, bet a winner, bet a double, bet a pick 4, pick 6, whatever you want to do to make some money. Tournament play, you got to pick the horses the other players aren't picking.
Yeah, that's
right.
That's why I love him.
That's the main thing.
Exactly.
Right?
I love his train of thought.
Even today,
Yeah.
West Hampton,
Yeah.
45 to 1.
Right, and he-
right. No one has him.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Robbie has him. Rob has him. Right.
Thank you,
In
thank
the
you.
tournament.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
One of the only people who has him. Right. So you're trying to pick the horses no one else has it. So
Yeah.
it might not be your first horse. It might be your second horse.
Yeah.
The odds are telling you this is what's going to make me move up that leaderboard.
And that's the key,
Exactly.
because that was going to be one of my next questions. What you would tell some people playing contests, mainly, just remember it's different
Yeah.
than when you're
Different.
playing. You
It's
have to have
totally
a different
It's
approach.
totally
Yeah.
different. Listen,
Right.
if you ever get DG at home,
Yep.
bet in every single race, contest play
Yep.
is how you can take it easy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're all in, you bet a certain amount of money, you show up today, whoever qualified today shows up,
Yep.
you got nothing to lose.
It does sort of teach you, right? In the
Teaches you
context,
discipline.
the
It gives you
Right.
discipline,
discipline.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
we love playing, we love the action. I mean, it's easy to play every
Oh
race,
yeah.
right?
Well, he
throughout
holds
the
me.
day.
I gotta tell you, he holds me together.
Yeah.
Because there's times where I got a little depressed. I had a 12 to 1. He sees it written on my program. He goes, "We're happy."
bet it.
Yeah.
I didn't bet it. So I was a little down and out. He said, "Yo, collect yourself. You're a good
plenty more to
handicap.
come, right?
There's plenty more to come."
It's a marathon. It's a mental
Next thing you
marathon.
know, boom, I catch the 6. Boom, I catch the 45 to 1 because he woke me up.
Because it's as
Know what I'm
much
saying?
mental,
Yeah.
right,
It's a
for
mental
yourself.
marathon.
Yeah, exactly.
I try to compare it a lot of times when I'm talking to people like baseball, right?
Yeah.
If you're the best are winning it 30% of the time, that means you're losing 70% of the
Yes.
time.
See,
right?
you're a numbers guy.
Even the
You find some
favorites,
numbers.
even the favorites are only going to win 1 out of 3 times.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
So you
Listen.
got to mentally be able to prepare. Hey, you know what?
Yes.
That's done. What's next? Because it only takes one. The way you guys play too, right?
Right, and that's what we love about it. That's what drives us. Is that this is a game of skill, on all levels. So
It's a sport.
So
Sport.
everybody here wants to be known as the best handicapper, right?
Yep.
And I applaud everybody
Best
for
in the
that.
world.
They should want that.
Absolutely.
You should want the best.
Yep.
Why play something if you don't want to be the best?
You don't
at
think
it?
you're going to win.
Exactly.
Paul's at our table. He won a couple years
Right,
ago.
Paul Kalia,
Check
he
our
had won a
table
couple
out
years.
tomorrow.
Come check our
You'll
table
see-
out
You'll
125.
see the final table.
You know, we got some great
Participant
skill there.
for
We
sure.
we rub off each other. We got Alexa over there in the background. She's no joke. Okay,
Stay
more
tuned.
ladies
Tomorrow's
like.
gonna be big.
She's a
Tomorrow's
class
gonna be
act, by
big.
the way.
She's awesome.
She's a class act, by the way. She's very humble. She helps people out. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I mean, listen, it's a great thing. It's a great camaraderie. and more people should join.
I
You
know
what mean?
that-
We got to grow the sport,
Yeah.
especially on the tournament play.
Yep.
On the tournament play.
And
Exactly.
as soon as we're done with this interview, I'm hanging out with these guys tonight
Let's do
because
it.
I just
Let's
feel
do it.
like
Oh man, let's do it.
I
Listen,
feel the
Stay
fun
tuned
vibe.
tomorrow.
We're
Exactly.
Italians.
Exactly.
We're
NHC.
Italians.
Yep.
We're gonna be
25.
we're gonna be
Best in
out on the
world.
town tonight. No
Oh
doubt
yeah.
about
Listen,
it.
Vegas, baby. Vegas,
Absolutely.
baby.
Cousins, let's
You
go.
know?
Love it,
Oh,
guys.
it was a pleasure.
It was a
Pleasure,
blast.
guys.
Thank you.
Good luck to them
Yep.
this weekend in the
Thank you
NHC.
so much, guys.
Great.
I
They
know.
were so funny. They were so funny.
If you've tuned in this whole weekend, you've seen that already. We played it yesterday, but it was just too funny to not show everybody again.
Yeah, we had to there. So wait, we have to actually give you some credit too. You picked a nice winner earlier on,
I
a
haven't
10
picked
to 1
a
shot.
loser yet
I
today,
know.
Gina.
Beautiful, beautiful job. You had the chalk early on. You thought that was an easy winner, and then you had a 10 to 1 shot right there. So great stuff from Alexa. And as we get ready to handicap this next race from Tampa Bay Downs, got a lot of people watching today, checking in with us. Ed Burke was asking how many people make the final table. That's 10. And what's cool, Ed Burke's asking questions, and then our other folks in the comment section are answering the questions for him and
I love
helping him
it.
out.
We love the community.
Matt Smith was telling them that people qualify and entry or entries for the semi round, and then they move into the next one. So top 10 highest mythical bankrolls will be on that final table. Today we go from 80 right now, and then the final table is the last 10.
Yeah, let's do Tampa real quick, and
Yeah.
then I want to take a look at the leaderboard because
Cool.
I'm sure that people had that. 10 to
Especially with
1.
that 10 to 1 shot will probably have some movement there. So
Definitely.
I told you a moment ago, this absolutely would be a race I was playing.
Yeah.
I love the 4 in here, Atomic Habits.
Okay.
This horse debuted on February the 28th at Tampa, going 6.5 on the dirt. Completely missed the break, was last early, moved really nicely up the inside, then had to shift out late, was a really good third. The top 2 finishers, they were way ahead of this horse early on. They just had much better trips. They were way more forwardly placed. With a horse like the 4, we actually don't even really know what her running style is. She might be a lot faster than she showed in that debut if she can just get out of the gate. So I was impressed with the way she closed. I'm going to play the 4 Atomic Habits. Who are you looking at here?
I'm looking from a tournament standpoint at the 7 Art Nouveau. I think, they switched this horse. They took him to Tampa, switched to the dirt last out. And I think actually performed pretty well. It was closing, and they're actually cutting back in distance. So I think that's an interesting approach here. So the 7 Art Nouveau, you're getting 6 to 1 odds on that horse. The 6 Security Lightning is the favorite, and I do think will be the horse to beat in here.
Horses are now approaching.
Almost won last out at Tampa in February, was beat by a neck, sat off the pace a couple of lengths, and then actually did get to first place and then ended up getting beaten by a neck. When it looks like there was a disqualification, or he was actually she was disqualified and placed 3rd. But
It was a good effort too. They had the
Yeah.
lead there late, and
Yeah.
then just kind of got a little weary before getting DQ'd.
I didn't watch the replay, so I'm not sure what happened there.
It was a good effort.
in
It
that
was a
disqualification.
Yeah, it was a valid disqualification.
It was a
too.
valid
Yeah, just got a little bit tired after the early move, but good effort. Completely agree with you. That's the horse to beat.
Cutting back a half furlong too
will
that
help
was
just
tiring. Yeah.
give the horse a little more fitness, a little more punch. They did just run the first at Aqueduct. We have the ability to show you the races from Tampa and from Gulfstream here. So we'll let you know what's happening at some of the other tracks, but we can always stay live with the tracks at Tampa and with Gulfstream when they're running. So we'll load you into the gate right here. Then we can head on over to Gulfstream for their second race. Shaking the Bell, the number 5 won the opener at Aqueduct, paying $12.20 there. So those 3 tracks are all up and running right now as part of the semifinal round, and then 17 minutes away from Oaklawn. So they'll also be joining the party in just a moment. Fairgrounds 27 minutes away.
Yeah.
So pretty soon we'll have
It's all gonna happen all
everything. It'll be
fires
5
at once.
tracks all rolling around
Which is
this
so
morning.
hard for a tournament player to keep track of. Like Ellis was saying, you can miss things.
You start
have to be
realizing-
so focused.
And
today.
I mean, that even happens when we're sitting down here a couple times, right? You
Yeah.
have horses you like, you're looking around, you forget about them. Final thoughts before we send it on over to Jason Beam for the call of Tampa Race 2.
yeah, I try to pick up a price here with the 7. Include it with the 6 for some in-race plays.
I'm actually really fine with the 5 to 1 on the 4 Atomic Habits. I thought this was the type of horse who might get played a little bit off the replay, because people watching that replay would have seen the horse missed the break and came running well late. So I'll go to the 5 Atomic Habits there. The 4, excuse me, 5 to 1 was what I saw. Thank you. That's why we're partners. That's what we're here
I got
for.
you.
Chalkbuster Scott likes a long shot, the 3. So best of luck, Scott. Thanks, Mike Smith, for checking in. James, we love you too, James. Appreciate the kind words there. All of you on the YouTube channel, don't forget to subscribe down low and make sure you watch all the great race previews that we have coming up for you. Alexa does a weekly Pick 3 video. We're doing some Pick 5 strategy videos now, trying to really help with the wagering strategy. Kind of like what we've been doing here with contest strategy throughout the weekend. So Jason Beam loads him in at Tampa Bay Downs.
Security Lightning. Still holding it even money. Art Nouveau and Ronnie Allen Jr. are going to be the final one to join. Just about set for a start. Art Nouveau to the outside. And she goes in. They're in the gate. And the race is on. Monteoro in the center, flashing speed down along the inside. Madam Prosecutor. Security Lightning is also forwardly placed. It's going to be Madam Prosecutor just narrowly in front of Monteoro. Security Lightning, those 3 across the course in the early going. They've gone 2 lengths in front of Atomic Habits. Art Nouveau's right to that one's outside. Can't barely see Art Nouveau, who's a lot smaller than Atomic Habits. It's another length then back to E Complicado, and another 5 or 6 back to Sunny Monday, who is the early trailer. 22-1 the opening quarter mile. And down on the inside, Madam Prosecutor is the leader. They've had the wind at their back down the back stretch. Madam Prosecutor in front, 3/4 of a length. Security Lighting up on the outside. So the 2 stablemates 1-2 as they go past the 3/8 pole. Pushed along Monteoro. Art Nouveau starting to move up on the outside, and Art Nouveau is now up to 3rd within 2 of the leaders as they wind around to the quarter pole. Madam Prosecutor just ahead in front of Security Lighting. They're 1-2, a length and a half in front of Art Nouveau, who tries to move out 3 deep. Into the stretch they come. Madam Prosecutor cuts the corner just in front. Security Lightning half a length back in second. Art Nouveau down the center trying to rally up as they have a final furlong left to go. Madam Prosecutor trying to see it out. It's Madam Prosecutor in front, a length and a half. Security Lightning wandering a little bit. Art Nouveau. Here's Security Lightning coming up to collar the stablemate, and Security Lightning up in time to get the win. Second ended up very close there between Art Nouveau and Madam Prosecutor. 4th was Atomic Habits, and 5th Monteoro.
No doubt about your winner there, Alexa. That was the
Sorry,
6
guys.
Security
I'm
Lightning.
today.
But you're seeing the ball well so far this morning.
That exact. I do think the 7 got up for second. Do you think? Oh,
let's see.
Give it to me.
Oh, we'll see on the bob back. It was tight, but 6, then a tight photo between the 1 and the 7 for the second spot. So that's between you and Ellis, because Ellis had the 1.
You know what? I hope I lose.
Because
I want Ellis to get
that place money right there and move a little bit up the board.
Yeah.
So we'll get you the results back in just a moment as soon as they're official from Tampa Race 2. Here's a look at the leaderboard right now. Alexa, what do you notice from some of the movement so far early this morning?
Not a whole lot of shuffling in that top 10. We did have Sean Nolan move up a couple positions to 3rd place. Dan Piazza still sitting comfortably in 1st. It looks like he hasn't hit anything.
Oh, and look at Trey Styles moving up.
Styles is up there.
He's in the top 10 right now.
It's interesting. Only Peter Dresens and Dylan Donnelly are the only 2 in the top 10 that haven't used any yet. So you do see some who have, like John Fisher has used 3, which John is a good friend of mine. He's a mentor who's taught me a lot about horse racing and was actually an NHC mentor for my mentor at the first NHC. So he is a great guy. He's been at this thing like forever, for ages and ages, and he's never made the cut before this year. And now, despite being a fantastic handicapper, this tournament's just a whole different bear, you know, like it's a whole different approach. And so I'm really excited for him. I really hope he makes the final table, and he's making his way. I think after yesterday, he ended the day in 11th place. So he has moved up a couple positions. I saw a little bit of shuffling. I'm looking at the scrolling leaderboard on NTRA.com that you can find and keep track of it yourself if you want as well. And I did see after the 10-1 came in, there were a couple people who jumped up significant positions, because right now people are pennies and dollars away from each other. So a 2-1 might move you over 10 people or 15 people. And in the prize structure, that's quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, like for example, if you move from, 20th place up to 15th place, that's almost $10,000 more in
Sure.
your pocket. So
Just for a few bucks.
for a few dollars. So everything matters. But
They
we're
went
gonna-
official at Tampa 6-1-7-4.
Okay, good.
So the one finished second. No excuses for the horse who I like. Was actually sitting in a pretty good spot, just kind of backed up, did not fire at all.
Apparently, I'm getting love in the YouTube.
You
Thanks,
are? Oh, you
guys.
are? Absolutely, because you've been seeing the ball very, very well. Chalkbuster Scott says Alexa, and Jeff Wilson says I love the pick 5 breakdowns too. So yeah, we've got a lot more of those coming, those strategy breakdowns. Appreciate that. And
See if we
Scott
can do it again.
Scott was also asking about the tourney. He says, I'm new to all of this. How does it work? You make one bet in each race, and it's just your win place total. You don't have to pick how much you're going to bet. It's just a $2 mythical win place total, so you get whatever money that comes in for the win in place there. So everybody's on that even playing field. Scott, that's what's so great about this tournament. They're loading into the gate right now with Pete Aiello. Any quick thoughts on this one at Gulfstream Park?
I'm just going to give you the horse to bet if you're trying to put one in the window. My pick would be the number 5, Japard, at 8-1.
Okay, the 5 for Alexa here coming up at Gulfstream Park. She's been seeing the ball well so far early on this morning. Thought the 7, Ensign Parker, was interesting.
Ooh, I bet that horse before.
At 5-1. So a couple different options for you, whoever you play, however you play them. We wish you the best of luck. What's up, Pete? Let's go see what Pete Aiello has to say right here at Gulfstream.
Moving in for a start at a 5-furlong starting point on the Tapeta track. 3-1 lukewarm favorite is 13. Vicente Stella Stables Rough Draft under Irad Ortiz Jr. Now Oxymore goes forward. In the line went Japard. Warlord Cruzan will be next. And then Rough Draft to the outside. Quick dash, full field, 5 furlongs. They're at the post. And they're off. Poor start, Dr. Oseron at the back. In the middle, it was a good start for Japard, who heads off for the early lead, trying to run through at the inside. Began in Greenpoint sent hard. Out in the middle, speed from Oxymore into the top flight. On the far outside goes Rough Draft, and the run past the half-mile point. Out of the scrum into the far turn. Neophyte doing battle with Began in Greenpoint. They're locked up heads apart. Tripped out third, Rock to Fame, but he is off the speed, not his custom. From fourth, Rough Draft on from fifth, Midnight Special. Then it's a gap of 3 to Dr. Oseron and Oxymore. The closers are a long way behind here, but they could not have gone any faster as they reach the top of the stretch. They're a quarter of a mile from home, and Neophyte has the lead. He's put away Began in Greenpoint. Moving to him on the outside, Rough Draft is on the move now. He's charging to challenge. In between horses, Rock to Fame. They come past the 8th pole. Rough Draft surging forward to take over the lead from Neophyte, who's back to second. Too late down the center is Ensign Parker to the wire. Rough Draft is in front. Rough Draft wins. Very close for second. That was Warlord Cruzan, who was surging at Neophyte, with on the outside the pink-colored Ensign Parker in 56-1.
Draft gets the victory. That's the number 13 there, Gulfstream Park, race number 2. It was another tight photo for the second spot.
Ooh, it was
One
so
thing
tight.
I will say, if you have like a stable male, or if you have horses to watch, keep an eye on the 7 there. That was the horse who completely missed the break, then had to go very, very wide and came rolling late. So horse with a better start could have been much, much closer there. Keep an eye on that one next time out. But we have a
7
guest
is,
joining us again
Ensign
today,
Parker.
right?
Yes. And yes, a familiar face, a lovely face. Been on with us every day, Racing Rachel.
Love you guys. I was just sitting over there talking to Robert at the DRF table, and I think that it's the last day, and we're all good, like resting a little bit on our laurels here. And we were like, let's not go find a horse play, Rachel. Just jump on the table. We know you don't need any prep. You're a fly by the seat of your pants kind of girl. Come on over and let's chitty chat.
Well,
So how many times is this the first time out here for you, or how many times have you been to this event?
My fourth time.
Okay.
Fourth, yeah. Ever since Horseshoe Las Vegas started hosting it, I've been here.
The crossover.
And I have learned. I was just telling. I met a guy. I walked down the long hallway with him. His name's Bob, and he was like, "Man, this is only my second time here. The last day, we'll see how it goes." I don't think he got to the last of it before, so he was like real excited to see how it goes. And I'm like, I have learned so much from strategy and stuff just coming here and hanging out with the guys. Jimmy Mack, who calls for us when John's out of town, he was like, I don't know why I just didn't do what I did to get here, is pick winners. He got here and tried to be fancy, and a lot of guys follow that. And I was talking to John Nichols, who we all know has qualified like dozens of times. And he was like, yeah, you got to pick winners and then find a long shot when you need it. So there's a whole strategy to this thing that is really interesting to talk to different guys about.
I asked John Fisher, who is in the top 10 right now. I mentioned him a few minutes ago. Good friend of mine, like, what's your goal? I asked him that on, I think, Friday, and he said, no goal, just play.
Yeah.
And
that's a good phrase.
Yeah, just
no goal, just play.
Just play. Just do it. Make your picks, make smart plays, and if you're on, you're on. You do have to have a little bit of luck and get on a little bit of a hot streak this weekend to do well. But anybody can do it.
Yeah.
That's in this room.
It reminded me of like the tag from What Women Want, I think, was like Nike, no games, just sports.
Oh, that's one of the best marketing TV things
Right.
ever. That's
I
what
remember that
do.
that scene where they were working
running
on.
early in the morning.
It's like, oh,
no one's asking her what to do.
I can see it. It's amazing, right?
I love that movie.
Yeah, so good.
You're the best.
I always try to keep people on their toes with the movie and music references at least once or twice throughout the day.
We
So
get at least a couple singing.
a few times we'll break out into and you weren't even with us when we went to see Aladdin on Broadway, so that was a totally
and then
different story.
she gets to go see
Yeah.
Pitbull, and
I
she
know.
showed me the booty shaking, which was nice.
I will say, Alexa and Lucia over the last 6 weeks, they keep me younger for sure, no doubt about it. Because I feel I'm the old man around them. My gray hair start to come in a little bit in the beard and stuff.
Gotta go to
But they keep me up a little more and keep me having fun. So it's been an absolute blast. And I like what you were talking about too, Rachel, what you learned coming out of it, because it's so different coming here than with just people at the track playing on a normal day. And I think the one thing that I was maybe the most surprised by is the kind of like the communal relationships that everybody has.
By that too.
Even though you're against each other, we're all battling for the prize, but everybody, like, nobody's ripping each other, nobody's being really negative. We're not hearing like people making everybody here is really respectful of one another. I think we all understand that you have good days, you have bad days, right?
Yeah.
This could be one of your good days or a few of them, or they could be a few of your bad ones. I love how like nice and friendly
Cohesive
and
everybody
like
is.
it's because
Like
in horse
one love.
racing,
Everybody in
it's
here's
not
got
always
one
like
love
that,
in horse
right?
racing.
Like in horse racing, a lot of organizations don't always work with each other well. There's not always as much for a sport that's a little bit smaller. Sometimes we're kind of like butting heads with each other.
I gotta say, that's how we are in Indiana. Everyone gets along. We all root for each other. If Tiana wins a race, we all go out and take a picture and celebrate her success. And she might have just beat her friend that's sitting right next to her. But that is my favorite thing about, especially Indiana racing. And this is like we're all rooting for each other. And if you beat me, dang it. But I'm happy you won, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So that's also, I'm glad you brought that up, Gina, because that was what I learned when I got here the first year. I'm walking around talking to all these guys, and they're like, we've sat at the same table together for 20 years, and he beat me last year, and I'm going to beat his butt this year, and they're just like, it's like just
There's
such
like
fun camaraderie.
table bets.
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
Cool.
I remember a couple years back when I was playing, a bunch of us didn't make the final day. And so we just had like our own table bet on who would, do better. And it's all fun. And everybody understands how hard this game is.
Yeah.
And I think for the most part respects everyone's unique approach. But I was promised
Oh,
a
yes.
funny pick.
You were. Well, it ends up being a really good pick. But I was eating hot wings with Eric last night, okay? And I have a best bet for everyone.
Nice.
I was eating my hot wing and handicapping for today, right? Okay, picture it.
So like Hunch play of the lifetime.
I'm literally handicapping. They bring out my hot wings, and I am about to take a bite, and my drumstick fell right on my program. And Eric goes, "Oh, that's a sign. That's your horse for that race." And I'm like, "Okay." So I caught me over here, so my program's over there. I'd show you. I have a giant drumstick stain
That is great.
in the third race at Aqueduct, which I think is coming up next. Okay, yeah, we're on race 2 now. So the next race at Aqueduct, I'm gonna go with the 5 Broderick. It's a maiden for 20K. They're going a mile. This horse has ran a handful of times, has a couple of nice seconds. The more I looked at it, I was like, I'm not even mad about it. Now, when this horse has ran a couple times at a mile, has won decent, kind of a best of the rest. I mean, he got kind of taken out by the winner in there that came back to win next time out. But I do think that it's a decent pick. I don't know that we're going to get 8-1. I think there's going to be a lot of money on Very Satisfactory, obviously. So maybe we will. Put some money across the board on my hot wing pick.
Hunch
And
play.
I went to school with Ryan Broderick. His name is Broderick, and he's a friend of mine. So there's like, this is a hunch play.
Does Ryan Broderick own this horse?
I wish.
Oh.
That would be cool.
So, Rachel, we got a really nice comment, and I want to give Scott a shout out because Scott gave us the winner of Gulfstream Park Race 2. He gave us the 13, and then he said,
Go, Scott.
Racing Rachel is a huge part of me getting into racing. I watch Indiana most days. I learned how to be casual and smart from Rachel. Thank you. So,
Scott.
very nice.
Oh, that's like the best compliment ever.
He said, winner, winner, chicken wing dinner. So,
That's
Scott,
my man.
Scott,
right there.
you're doing well
If
today.
anybody
Yeah.
follows me on Twitter, they know that I always make, me and John love hot wings, and Eric does too. So me and John Dooley always go to Hooters or to B Dubs.
What's your favorite? Do you like branch out on the flavor?
No, I'm a hot barbecue all day long. I want my face to just melt off.
Whoa.
And Julie's always like, I don't know how you eat that stuff. Over here,
Have you
like
ever,
sweating,
do you
nose
ever
is
do the
running.
challenge? The
Eric did it once, the blazing one.
Yeah.
I tried the blazing sauce. I can't do it. It's
Yeah.
not even enjoyable. I want to do the bomb though from that hot wing show, Hot
Yeah,
Ones. I
yeah.
want to try that so bad.
do it.
So we're gonna get a little
Videos.
busy in just the next few minutes. We won't be showing these races, but just to remind anyone that's playing them, we've got Oaklawn, first race coming up right now. Then Aqueduct, race 2 is only 2 minutes away. Fairgrounds, race 1 is only 9 minutes away. We got a best hot wing bet from Rachel. Did you have a thought on any of these races coming up? Like Aqueduct is coming up right now, race number 2.
Aqueduct too. You know, this weekend's a grind, right? There's a lot of races, so we're gonna do a little bit of handicapping on the fly here today as well.
Field of 6, the number 5 Lady Raincorn is 2-1, lukewarm favorite. The 6 Giant at Work is 5-2. So those two are getting some of the early action. What do you think, Alexa?
I handicapped this last night, and I think the 6 looks good. Giant at Work. Yep. I think that's kind of one of those races where these horses haven't ran a whole lot. I gotta give a shout out to my boy at Equinedge. I look at those GSR figures, the buyer's figures for you guys, and then when it's a maiden, I couple it with Scotty McKeever's gross drink ratio and mix it all together. So those work really well on these maiden special weights.
The one thing I just at glancing, if
the
you're
one
looking
thing-
for a big bust-out horse in this race, you know,
Yes.
the 1 Crimson Queen
Yeah.
hasn't really shown a whole lot of speed. The 3 Twirly came from way out of it. The 4 Knick-Knack, not a ton of speed. Even the 2 to the outside aren't really fast. If you were looking for like a big throw-in downfield in this race, maybe it is the 2 who could get a little brave. Class-wise, this is a step up, but this would be the horse who could be out front, and you are getting Manny Franco to jump aboard, who's been having an incredible meet, and at this point of the year at Aqueduct, he dominates up there, so
Yep.
wouldn't be shocked to see this horse get a little loose early on and then maybe try to get brave late.
Yeah, and just got caught at a mile a couple back as well. So that horse definitely one to look at.
I think the distance could be a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, I agree.
But you're right, there's not a whole lot of contentious pace in here, and it should be second pace. So if it gets this way, it gets ahead. I'm agreeing with Rachel here though with
The outside, the 6.
with the 6.
Just
I'm not loving the odds. She didn't score when I say got the 6, but I do think wow, the room is getting loud. We got something happening.
Oaklawn Park, race 1, with Matt Dinnerman giving us the call. It's a tight finish at Oaklawn. Ooh, really tight finish. And I think the horse who ran second on the outside was 26-1.
Oh my God.
That's why they were.
It looked like the
Yeah.
9 ran second. I think the one on the inside
Was 5-1.
was the winner at 5-1, but a really tight photo
Was it?
finish.
Were we sure? I mean, that looked really
was
close.
tight.
Let's take a look at this replay. We'll try to call it for you. So yeah, this 26-1 shot. Ooh, they are kind of bumping on the down
Yeah.
the stretch a little bit too.
One horse on the rail, kind of battling back on the inside,
Oh.
and
And then the
gets
9 comes back. Okay, now the
Oh, they're in stride too. Oh,
a little bit of a margin. It's
tried
tight,
so
yeah.
hard.
It's really tight.
I don't even know.
Looks
It
like
could
the
have been the
9.
9.
Again, remember, like these things aren't the photos that we're looking at, and the angles aren't always exact, right? Like sometimes some tracks have it a little bit different. I would have had to, if I had to, I would have said the one looked like the neck was down and probably got the better of the bob. I think so still there
I
too.
think you're right.
But like if you were on the 9, 26
They just
to 1,
did the exact
somebody
same
did that, right? Oh,
And we went up. And
oh.
Yeah, I mean, man, it would have really shaken up the leaderboard. It's still going to shake up the leaderboard because the 5-1 will give you, 18, 20 bucks.
Yeah,
And the
but
place
God,
will be
only
20.
underneath. I can't believe Dan is 322 and second is 265. Like, I don't remember it ever being that
Going into like the
in the
final day.
recent years.
'Cause
I've never seen it
after that margin,
far.
everybody else is
It's
so
super
tight
close.
within just a few dollars between each spot.
I'm trying to remember what year it was, but I do remember one year where we had a leader just striking
Just-
out, like so far ahead, and nobody could even. I think it was over a cap away from people going into. So a cap horse, for those who are familiar with the races, they cap off the amount you can make in the tournament at 20-1. So 44 to win, 22 to place. Sorry, 42 to win, 22 to place, $64. So that way, if somebody hits 100 to 1 or something crazy, the tournament's not just like over.
Yeah, and that way at the ends of the days and stuff like that, when people are stabbing for a race, they can't move all the way up just by throwing a dart down, So Aqueduct is underway right now, and they are running. Rachel, I know you know this as a mom, and I was thinking what's funny, when I'm watching the races now too, my son picks up my noises like that I make afterwards, like we just did the I see my son do, like I'll do it and then he thinks it's funny and he does the same noise and then runs around, or like if I make him put his toys away, he's doing the noise that I made when my race lost. It's like, yeah, definitely gotta be careful because they're sponges, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, as someone who has a really good filter on air, if you know me in real life, I like to cuss.
And then you gotta go right on there.
So yeah, my mom was watching Houston and she said, "What the heck?" And she asked him if he said a bad word, and he did not say "what the heck" when she asked. He pulled out the F-bomb, and she didn't even say it. I would get if he had heard it, so he just wanted to say it, and he's only 3, so like it's not. But wait until you get caught cussing,
Yep.
and then your son's walking around saying like a bad word, and then you really feel like
You're like, oh,
you really realize they pay attention. Yeah, every parent has that story. Yeah, every parent has that story where they're like, "Where did you hear that?" You.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
I unfortunately got the one call the other day, which I wasn't even really too mad. Milo kissed a girl at school. And it was like, that's better than hitting.
That's true.
Right?
Love
You
is
gotta-
love.
I'm Italian. We're Italian.
Lovers.
We all love. We kiss. We hug. That's how we are. So like,
Oh, that's
I know I'm
funny.
supposed to be mad, and I had to tell him,
Like
we
boundaries.
do that for
Yeah.
family. Like we can't do that. But again, I'm preferring that than the hitting. Right? Like, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I want to check. I know we have Tampa in 8 minutes or so, 7 or 8 minutes.
Yep.
But
And Aqueduct just went 5-1-2.
Yeah, I was
we're
about
down
to
to
say.
5.
5 was the favorite. That was
Okay.
Lady Raincorn. So not a whole lot of
Dang,
movement
that
there.
6
I want to
didn't
take
even.
a look at the leaderboard once the race before with the bomb in second is official and updated.
You get a lot of people with that price play.
Yeah,
'Cause even
well,
with the
actually,
winner at 5-1.
We have the leaderboard up now. So
Yeah.
we've had a fair amount of shifting in the top 10. We have a new second place finisher, Tom Boyd, who moved up 4 positions. Peter Dresden's moved up 2. Trey Styles, who
Look at
we had on the
Trey.
show yesterday.
Yeah.
He's a
Sam
nice
Houston.
guy.
Yeah, sitting in 4th place. Dylan's moved down to 5th. And let's see, I'm looking at the scrolling board. Any other big?
Oh my God, that
big
thing goes by so
changes?
fast.
Yeah.
I know.
Sean Nolan, one of the nicest people you'll ever meet out there, genuine. He's up in 6th right now.
Ellis Starr was sitting at, I think, 35th.
Oh, he was
or
hoping
so,
that
so-
last race at
I know
Gulfstream
he
would
had
have
the
went.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got second.
And remember, you can check all of this on the NTROA website. They're updating it. And even if you want to search for an individual person, you just put their last name in, you search, it shows you exactly where they are, what their bankroll is, how many wagers they have left, everything you need there.
Oh, we have another update. Okay, cool. So this is updated from that bomb race. So we actually have Dylan Donnelly moved back up into third place. Peter Dresden's is now in second, so they both passed over Sean Nolan. Greg Bone moved up a couple positions. Jeff Arthur moved up 2 positions. So the leader is still Dan Piazza at $322.
But the margin
and then
now-
the margin is
Right around 40 bucks, a
Yeah,
little bit lower
so-
than before,
42. Yeah, that's crazy.
but
I'm trying to
still.
remember. I looked yesterday. The cutoff for the final table was, I think, 250.
I did not have time to ask that yet today.
I'm gonna look.
Yeah,
it
look that up.
Yeah, because it's always it's interesting every year.
It is.
It's pretty much the same. Like that's why you can't really get too like zeroed in and freaked out about the leaderboard because it really is about the same. I think last year the cutoff was also like 170 something to get to the final table. So let's see.
For those of you wondering about races that are coming up, we have Fairgrounds Race 1. They're starting, and remember, they got canceled yesterday.
Yeah.
So
That was crazy.
that was probably difficult for some people who were handicapping that track and had a few plays there. They didn't get a chance to use their Fairgrounds plays. And then we have Tampa Bay Downs Race 3 that we're looking at right here on the track feed. This one is just 5 minutes away from the third. It's a group of $20,000 claimers, 6 furlongs on the dirt fillies, 3-year-old fillies. We have Ran the Red. The number 5 is currently 7-5 up on the board. This horse was a winner last time out and now is going to move into a new barn. So that's the horse is taking all of the early money. What did you think?
I do have the update here on this fun fact. So last year, the cutoff to get to today was 173. What was it, 172 this year?
172, I think.
172, so $1 apart. And then last year, the cutoff for the final table was 251.
Okay.
So
Kind of looking at those
Looking
numbers,
really-
like, and sort
Yeah.
of estimate a guesstimation of where we
Where
could
you
be.
need
Because
to
like you
be.
pointed out, today that we were saying leading into this, you want to aim for 80 to 100 per day, and that's about exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Right in that range if you wanted to try to get qualified for day 3 and make it on. So
and Mike Gillum won this thing with 320.
My boy.
So the fact that
Dan's sitting right there
Right
already.
there.
he
yeah.
already is he's a quick ticket.
Yeah.
But okay, we're talking Tampa. So
Yeah. Any thoughts on this Tampa race? I had a hard time with this one. This wouldn't have been.
Honestly, I didn't get this far yesterday. Let me look at it for a
What is this,
second.
Tampa race 3?
Yeah.
Is it the third or the second?
It's a third now.
Yeah. it's
I would
third.
have leaned to the 4 misinterpretation just for a horse who I think has some upside with the price. Won last time out in the second start, so it showed that improvement. But do you think the 5 feels like a horse who's going to run well off of those last couple efforts? And I didn't love some of the others in here. Any thoughts, Alexa or Rachel?
I'm a little bit interested in the 6 Wildcat Mini, just coming off of a layoff, second off of a long layoff. Hasn't had super stellar performances in his most recent starts, but looking back, definitely, if he could come back and improve off of how he was running last July and August, I think could be in contention here, and you're getting a decent price at 8-1.
Is the one in here?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because I have had horrible luck this weekend. I'm picking horses that end up scratched, so I just want to make sure. I like the one. That's a bit of a long shot. But look at this horse. I mean, he's been in nothing but stakes since she broke her maiden.
First time dirt.
Yep, first time dirt. We're switching it up. There's a bunch of great upside to this sort, and this is that kind of race where it's like,
If she can get the lead from the
Yeah.
inside and just sort of go,
Go,
how much are you trusting these other horses to come close?
I was gonna say, because these are not locks by any means. I mean, this horse is moving up, ran the red. This horse as well. These are steps up. Sammy Camacho's good, but I think the inside here with this filly has got a big chance. Dropping down to 6 a little bit. I think maybe a little bit shorter she might like. That's obviously the case when she first started. So a Presque Isle. Switching it up to Tampa, I love it. I like the one. That's my long. What is the odds though? It's getting a lot of That's all right. I'll take 6-1 on that horse all day long. Lithica's my
Scott's
pick.
with you too. Your buddy Scott said he coming up with Lithica. So
My man Scott.
good luck to Scott.
Great minds think alike, baby.
Good luck to Rachel.
2 minutes to post time. Today's third race, the middle pick 4 in 2 minutes. The horses are approaching the starting gate today's third race. We'll start that middle pick 4 in just 1 minute. Horses have reached the gate. It's post time. They're lining up for today's third. Start of our middle pick 4 here. Field of 6 at the 6 furlong distance. Your post time favorite here at 7-5. Number 5, Ran the Red. 5-2 on the 3, Cantafio. Here's Lithica. Lady Collected going to be next. Cantafio, your 5-2 second choice. 6-5 now, Ran the Red. Misinterpretation, Ran the Red, and Wildcat Mini going to be the final 3. We're just about set for a start today's third. Ready to get that middle pick 4 going. It's been a breezy afternoon here at Tampa thus far. The wind, a tailwind for the runners down the backstretch, but a headwind coming home. So we await Wildcat Mini, Alonso Quinones to the outside drop. Wildcat Mini goes in. They're in the gate. A couple of them fractious there, including both numbers 5 and 6. And once again, we're just about set. And the race is on. Wildcat Mini from the outside. Ran the Red is quick. Misinterpretation set from out of the pack now up into second. But it's Wildcat Mini Going to lead him up the back stretch. Misinterpretation, a length and a half back in second. Then comes Lady Collected. Lithka's down toward the inside. It's a break of a length and a half back to Ran the Red. Another 2.5 back to Cantafio as the two favorites are 5th and 6th early on. It's Wildcat Mini, the leader. Wildcat Mini at a big price in front by just about a length. To Misinterpretation, Lithka down toward the inside. They're two clear of Lady Collected. Now Ran the Red. Cantafio starting to move up 3 and 4 wide respectively. Ran the Red's into 4th. Cantafio trying to follow that move as they wind around that turn. 22 and 1. That was with the wind at their back. They come past the 5/16 pole. Wildcat Mini 3/4 of a length in front of Misinterpretation. Ran the Red continues to make steady progress in those bright green colors. It's another length and a half to Cantafio's. Wildcat Mini turns for home. Wildcat Mini cuts the corner just in front. On the far outside, Ran the Red. Misinterpretation trying to get to this long-time leader. A final furlong left to go. Wildcat Mini right down the center. Here's Misinterpretation. Ran the Red trying to go with them. 16th pole. Wildcat Mini. Misinterpretation right up alongside. These are the two. Misinterpretation on the outside gets the lead. Late Misinterpretation to win it. Wildcat Mini was valiant, put second best. Then came Ran the Red and Lady Collected.
The Gino, Alexa,
We were
exacta.
duking it out down the stretch. Oh my gosh.
As
We should have played that exacta.
I know, 5-1 over an 11-1. We beat the 6-5 favorite, Ran the Red. So Misinterpretation. It's kind of funny. At the top of the lane, she sort of went wide and floated the 5 out a little bit. And I don't know if the 5 was ever going to win the race, but it definitely made the trip for Ran the Red a little bit harder. It was kind of looming up, as Frank Miramati will sometimes say, looming up ominously there. I love when the track announcers have their little catchphrases or some cool descriptive words there. So we heard Jason Beam calling that one over at Tampa. Let's head on over to Gulfstream Park. 4-6-5-2 there. Oh, making some wagers.
This live show's off the rails.
Rachel.
Did you guys have that exactly?
No, because I was making my
No, we
bet.
didn't have it because we didn't bet it because we suck. But
I got up and ran.
Gino's 4 wins.
Oh, man.
His 4 clips my 6 at the wire at 11-1.
Had a
5-1
nice
over 11-1.
20 spot on the 4 to win.
Dang
So-
it.
You did?
Yeah, we'll take
Gino,
that. We'll
you're
take
just
that.
a man who can do everything.
We'll take
Anything
that.
you
Gino's so talented.
Thank
so
you. I
talented.
appreciate that. I'll
But
take
you
a,
didn't,
I'll take
you
a
didn't
bow.
bet my 6 with it? You
No,
didn't
I just
believe in
went.
it?
I went 20 to win on the 4 real quick. Sometimes it's like
believe in
you
me.
have like the 2 seconds before the race. I'm like punch. Oh, I got it. Yes. You know,
Like,
right.
don't even care how much the domination was as long as you get your bet in.
As long as you got that one in. So
So what did we bet here?
Okay, so I got the 3 at Gulfstream.
cool.
Literally, if John Nichols texts you and says bet the 3, you run to the line. So I put 20 to 1 on the 3, and then I had to bet my boy Broderick.
Oh yeah.
And that's like the
Buffalo-
next race. So I was like,
Yeah.
gotta go bet the hot wing hunch play, baby.
Hot Wing Hunch, baby.
Another great comment where Bobby Salzano says hello to Rachel.
Hey, Bobby.
Bobby Salzano, I've spoke with many times back in the day, a lot on
Bobby.
Facebook. He's checking in with us here on YouTube.
Shake 'em up.
Says, good morning, everybody.
Oh, my
Happy
God.
NHC
Shake 'em up, Bobby.
Silver Sunday.
What was he screaming? Is that what he was screaming? That
Do you know this? Shake 'em up.
No.
Okay.
it was viral. It went
It
viral
went
his
viral
year.
from NHC like
That's
a couple
great.
years ago, where everybody has their own way of cheering, which we haven't really covered, which is honestly part of the best part of this
Oh,
room,
yeah.
where everybody's got something wild and crazy to say. But Bobby was just shake 'em up,
Yeah.
shake 'em up, and then throw this sticker.
Yeah. And it went viral. Everyone
like
saw
millions of
it.
views.
The calls are so great. Like you said, when everybody has their different call,
Yep.
the way they route their horses home, with
Oh, I
they're
love
like a
it.
program, smacker,
Yep.
or like whatever you are, I'll like quickly, like I'm not too loud, and then all of a sudden, actually Lucia's got one of these on the video where like I'm just kind of standing there, and then once I realize my horse
Boom.
has a
Yeah,
shot,
I'm
the
the same
last
way.
5 seconds it just escalates.
Unleashed.
Go, like I just started going. She's like, you ruined one of my videos. Oh wait, no,
You
the
get this
video's
Jamie
actually
in the
better.
background. What are you doing? Wait a second. You know how you were saying that your kid is like a sponge. So I've grown up around like the same horsemen in Indiana forever. And one of the older guys, he says, "Hurry wire, hurry wire, hurry wire," and like, or they're doing the moonwalk, and I'll just out of nowhere be like, "Man, my horse is doing the moonwalk," and I'm like, "Gosh, Marvin Johnson used to say that." I totally have just
That is
taken over
great.
everything he says.
That
Like,
is great. Oh, good stuff.
So we know you're betting the 3 here.
Yep.
Hit play for you. I feel like not too jazzed about this race because I do think the 1 Shred the Gnar
1-2 on Shred the Gnar.
Shred the Gnar.
Let me throw.
One time lost by a neck, ran an 80 buyer figure.
Yeah.
You have a fair amount of like first timers in here, or horses who've only run once.
So we were talking about hunch plays. Rachel had the buffalo wings. I was watching the show You last night. I was rewatching it because the new season is coming up.
Never seen that.
Yeah, it's coming up in just like next month.
Yeah.
And the main character in one of the seasons is named Love. And right as I was looking at this race, Low Key and Love hopped out of the page to me. Half sibling to a multiple graded stakes winner, Lady Bernadette. Half sibling, and then a couple others. So that are really nice on the pedigree. Pete.
They're off. Good start for Cat Chat. Sent hard from the rail. Shred the Gnar. Shred the Gnar looks like she's intent on going near the lead. She's challenged now by Donor Advised. The 2 favorites kick on. Out in the middle, Crawford not far away. From 4th, it's Cat Chat. The 2 at the back are Whirl of War and Low Key and Love. Out of the chute, onto the main track. Shred the Gnar has the lead for Louis Saez. Past the opening quarter, a length better than Donor Advised in second. That opening quarter was 23 and 4. It's not flying, it's not crawling either. From 3rd, it's Crawford. At the rail, Cat Chat is now racing in 4th in the light blue. Out in the center goes Low Key and Love and Whirl of War. Last of all, they have 4.5 furlongs to race. Shred the Gnar by a length and a half. Second is Donor Advised. 3rd is Crawford. 4th and working a bit harder, Cat Chat. Up to the outside, Low Key and Love, and Whirl of War is last. They went the half in 47 seconds flat. They have 3 furlongs to go. Saez asks Shred the Gnar to kick again. She leads a length and a half. Donor Advised is hot on the chase from second at the 3 furlong grounds. 3 back to Crawford, who's now third. 2 better than Low Key and Love with 5/16 remaining. Shred the Gnar tries to stretch out the field. She's a quarter of a mile from home and 2 on top. Second, Donor Advised, but she's been chasing awfully hard. The same could be said for Crawford, and Low Key and Love is on the outside. Off the turn in the stretch drive. Shred the Gnar has to finish it up, and look at that response. She opened 5 in a hurry. Second is Donor Advised, battling with Crawford. At the rail, it's Cat Chat, and Low Key and Love is next. But a very nice win from Shred the Gnar, the daughter of Into Mischief, reports home 2-5 and 6 in front. Donor Advised was second. Crawford ran third. Low Key and Love 4th in 136 and 3.
Winner.
And those are Mrs. B's
1 to
try
2.
numbers. 135 try box. Mrs.
Yeah.
Bacola might have hit that. But I will say, she's not really a chalky player too much.
Yeah.
She plays the tries with the bigger ones. My mom's a big numbers player.
Is she?
She worked at the track too, so she has like a good insight. She plays a lot of jockeys and traders and stuff. Like for someone who's not diving into the past performances,
Does
she
really well.
wins way more than she should. And she's 2 4s because those are me and my sister's birthdays. We were both 24s. And she plays 135s a lot. Those are her numbers. So
I know the superstitions. What did I just say? I have a bet on this race. I can't watch.
yeah,
Like,
you're looking down the whole time.
I can't do it.
Not a whole lot of movement there when you have a heavy favorite and then a very logical horse right behind them for the place price. So that won't even be huge. We have a couple minutes to Oaklawn, race number 2. So we're going to head over there in a second, but we can take a look at the leaderboard right now and take a look at any movement. Also, Aqueduct, race 3, coming up in just a couple minutes. That's the Rachel winner chicken wing dinner play.
All right, let's see. I'm refreshing my screen as well for the leaderboard because I can't see that tiny one over there.
Oh, look, I even got a text from Mom. She said, nope, I played a 135 last race and didn't win. So you're
man.
Dang it.
over at Oaklawn, or anything you're noticing on the leaderboard? Have
Well,
we seen any big movement?
One thing we've been experiencing this weekend is the internet issues that we've been having.
600 people
Wow.
in a room,
Inside
all on
of the room.
the
Yeah,
internet,
with
right?
all this. So currently, I'm getting a site can't be reached. So let's come back to that in just a minute.
Okay. Dan, when I'm looking at the one that was updated about 6 minutes ago, we've still got Dan up top at 322 with Peter behind.
Dylan
and
moved
Dylan
up a little bit
to
with
third.
280.
Yeah, Tyler's
he
in
is
fourth.
4 cents behind second place.
Yeah. Trey Styles, who we spoke with yesterday, still in the top 10. He's at 8th. So remember, you can continue to monitor this. I saw Ellis, he was up at like 40, 41. So
You know he's serious when I just walked by him and he didn't even look at me.
Yeah.
Like I'm in love with that. Yeah, and he was like locked in.
He's got the blinkers on.
All I did was walk by to let him know I was there because he was in that zone.
We lucked out getting him on the stream here for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I was like, we should grab a ton of players. I'm like, we can't really grab a lot of players this morning because
Today's a
they're
hard
so
day to
locked
do
in.
it. Yeah.
We caught Dan at a perfect time before anything started.
Yeah.
This morning because he was nice and calm, the calm before the storm, you know.
He's used 3 plays, hasn't hit anything it looks like so far, but still has 7 left, so still a
Actually,
lot.
was he 318? Did he get like a place?
You're right.
I think he
he
might
was
have gotten
good,
like a
too.
place
Maybe
price, or
$4.
maybe he got a little bit on one horse coming into the day. So Dan's margin, yeah, still about $40 or so ahead of the second place right now, which is Pete, and 2 and 3 are very, very tight. We know what Rachel thinks about Aqueduct, race number 3. It's coming up. Want to spend a minute or two on Oaklawn?
I've been looking at Oaklawn this entire
cool.
time. I just tried while we were talking to, because we're doing this on the fly. I text Ricky Giannini, which he does Indiana and Fairgrounds for Brad. And I said, do you like your horse in the second race? And he goes, Rach, that's Oaklawn. I'm at Fairgrounds. I'm like, dude, sorry. I'm on the fly. He was like, you got this.
Yeah.
I think that this first time starter is interesting, obviously, but I think the one that I was looking at was Halfway Tempted. This horse has done really well the last couple. That way back in November ran at today's distance. Ran it. That hasn't been recent, but then off that long layoff comes out and is a nice second. I think maybe improving horse, a little bit of a dangerous horse, as they say. So I kind of like the 2, obviously, first-time starters from Brad Cox hit at a very high percentage. So yeah, I might do that and then try to find maybe a long shot to throw in there. Do like an exacta box, 1, 2, maybe 5. Let's Go Champ coming off a second place finish, but it's a pretty tough group and a move up. But definitely, or maybe the 8, kind of getting, I think, a softer group. But this horse is for 12, so
I know, and that's the thing.
don't
I
know.
don't ever play type horses like that, Rachel. I think I would be okay maybe in this race with Major Mac. Just even if you're looking at figures and stuff, a lot of his races fit pretty well with this group. You can get any bit of value on that one. Oaklawn Park right now, race 2. Major Mac is the 8, up on the board at 9-1. So
I like an 11-1 in here. I like the 7. I like Student.
like the 7.
I went Studeny
Studeny.
because I was looking at it
Yes,
myself.
Studeny.
This horse is the first time gelding and first time LASIK. So I think that's a really overlooked sometimes angle.
Yes.
You know, so when
And in the last 2 races, both of the horses have come back to win.
yeah, exactly. So
Tough races.
I think first time gelding, like the horse is completely different. Like you can have a not always, but a lot of times completely different racehorse.
Oh,
like
yeah.
if there were focus issues or anything else going on. So I always like playing that. That's my bomb in here. Let's see.
Oh, my guy's loading. He's still 6-1, Broderick.
Aqueduct, Rachel's horse, 6-1 at Aqueduct.
All right, you guys, I'm not listening.
can
I'm not
A
listening.
little bit what's happening at Aqueduct. We keep getting plays pouring in from Chalkbuster Scott and from Bobby Saldano. He gave us some
Who does
selections.
Bobby like in here? Did
He
say?
gave us Mando selections for a little later on, so we got all the mandatories from Bobby. If you like anything in the races coming up, in race number 2 at Oaklawn, let us know.
I'd pair that 7 with the 1, the Rebel Moon.
Okay, I think I'm gonna be going to the Return of the Mac
Okay.
with the
All right.
8, Major Mac. That was one of my
Put our picks
kinda
together,
high school dance
people.
songs when we were dancing
We need a
around.
box of trifecta with
Yeah,
the
little
picks here.
Gino, Alexa, Rachel.
7, 8, because we got 11-1, 9-1, 7-2, and what was your pick?
I like the 2 Halfway Tempted. Are we at Oaklawn?
Yes.
Yes, I like the
1,
2 at Oaklawn.
2,
And I'm on the 8.
7, 8.
Yes, 1, 2, 7, 8.
I'm doing it.
There we go.
Do it right now. I like your pick too. This long shot. That's gonna be good.
Hear the voice of Chris Griffin. That means Aqueduct's race is running right now. If you're watching along for Aqueduct race number 3, we'll let you know as soon as that one goes official. Remember, for the next hour or so, we're able to show you the races live from Gulfstream and from Tampa. So whenever it's coming up on those races, we can stay live with those tracks and show you those ones. And for a lot of the folks here, you're going to start feeling the pressure if you haven't played many of your races yet, because then you're going to get forced into playing a certain amount, right? You have to have 10 of the 19 that you're playing. And, you know,
So
Rachel,
I'm putting it in a bag. I know. I'm putting it in this tripod
Rachel.
because my computer stopped loading. So,
Rachel, the 5 Broderick.
Oh,
Broderick is trying to
Broderick.
switch leads. It's like it's not pretty,
Yeah.
but Broderick is going to hold on here. To 1, the Hunch. Hey, you know what?
Hot wings.
Who needs
What'd I
handicapping?
do?
All you gotta do, you get your
solid
daily
wing.
racing form and you drop a hot wing on it, and that's the horse you pick. No handicapping
Eric's
needed.
gonna be so proud of
The
me.
key is you have to have the daily racing form. Even if you're not handicapping it, you gotta be.
Yeah,
gotta
you
the
have
form
to
and
eat
drop
your
it.
hot wing over the form.
It stains that formed paper, and then you know, boom, that's the horse that you need right there.
Guys, I am
7-1.
Bro, I'm so tickled to death about that.
She got up to go make the wager. That was
She
awesome.
did it. I'm currently fighting for our life on this internet to get this in. Okay, a tri-box,
so
1.
Let's give you a little time if we need. Do we have our player profile loaded up?
Oh, that's awesome.
Got it.
Our next
We're
one?
good. We're locked
Tickled to
on.
death
Okay,
about
cool.
that.
We're set.
So we'll go to our player profile. Race number 2 from Oaklawn is just a minute away. That race will probably go soon. Fairgrounds is coming up, but when we come back, we can start our focus on Tampa, race 4. We're going to go out to Ty Alexander. We talked with him a little yesterday, but we caught up with him. Here with Ty Alexander, good friend. He's qualified for the NHC coming up this week. So Ty, I know you really well, but I don't know if I even know your origin story. How did it all get started for you in horse racing?
When I was 10 years old, my father took me to the UCLA track meet. And the following year, a day after Christmas, he said, Ty, I'm going to take you to the track again. I'm like, oh, don't take me to the track. I was so bored. He's like, no, this is a different type of track. This is the racetrack. And he told me stories about Lafitte Pinkeye and Bill Shoemaker, the shoe, all the way to Arcadia. And he said when I got into the parking lot, my eyes were like saucers, like I was going into Disneyland. And he's like, I knew right then, uh-oh, the kid is hooked. And that year, I played Bill Shoemaker to win, Lafitte Pinkeye into place, and had a nice profitable year for an 11-year-old. Made probably 80, 150 bucks. And then the following year, my father, who worked for Lockheed, and then sooner, a little bit later, General Dynamics, but there was a black gentleman named Morris who came over to the house and taught me how to handicap. There it is.
Awesome. So what are the things that you look for when you're looking in the past performances or maybe some of the angles? I know you get really in depth and you have some of your own numbers and programs that you make, but when you open up the DRF and you're looking at some things, what are kind of your angles that you're looking for?
Well, I'm not saying this because but I only use the Bible, which in this industry is the daily racing form. I don't have any programs. I haven't gone to the technology of programs yet. No, nothing against that. And as I age, I'm seeing that it's getting harder and harder to dissect and pull out nice picks out of the daily racing form just because of my age. But yeah, I strictly use the daily racing form, and I use all type of angles. Of course, speed, pace, class. There's the super trainer angle where these trainers tend to somehow
move
win
everybody up
at 34 to 38% of the time, and when they claim a horse or there's a change of hands, a horse will improve dramatically, similar to what we see on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
They will improve. So trainers, I've always say, drive the boat. The jockey matters, but trainers drive the boat. You got to follow the trainers.
You are mainly a contest player nowadays, right? Like you mainly focus on those. If you're not, are you still big on just like your win wagers when you like a horse and that's kind of how you play?
Yes, but I strictly usually try to not go under 6-1.
Yep.
Because logically, and I think this shows a little bit of humble on my part, it's hard to hit.
Yeah.
40, 50, 60%, it's unheard of. Even the favorite on a track basis wins, and correct me if I'm wrong, isn't it 18 to 21% of the time?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say not, yeah.
So I play only 6-1s or better because that way I know I only have to hit 25% of my bets to make money, to make a living.
So I believe you're still based down in San Diego, right? You get a chance to head out to Del Mar and take the races in every now and then?
I do. I've been in Del Mar for 20, 30 years.
When you're not at the races,
you're pretty buff. You still doing some working out. What are some of your hobbies and things you're doing when you're not playing?
I still am working out. I think Jack LaLanne was always my mentor, and you take care of your body takes care of you. But other than that, my passion has always just been handicapping. I love handicapping. I don't even have to play the race. It's almost like a crossword puzzle, if you will, where I just like to see if I was right.
What kind of advice would you give to someone who may be playing in this contest for the first time, or people who are looking to get into contests?
That's a difficult answer, because you would have used to say, look for long shot. Like Richard Goodall, who's won this contest, once said to me, Ty, it's not a handicapping contest, it's a long shot handicapping contest. But I've noticed with the online tournaments, a lot of the big players, they'll swallow the favorite on occasion.
Yeah.
And I think their mentality is, why give away points? If you could bring home a couple good 7-2s, you're at $20.
Moves you up the list.
Right. And now if you're only playing long shots, you have to bring home a 7-1 just to catch them.
Yeah.
And as we know, it's hard to bring home a winner. There's a million ways to lose a race. There's only one way to win it.
I will mention too, before we get out of here, when I was sick and I was in the hospital and I had cancer, this guy came all the time and visited me and hung out with my family when they were struggling. So absolutely love this guy. Wish you the best of luck. Good luck to Ty Alexander playing this weekend in the NHC.
Guy. Thank you. Good.
Awesome.
The horse is onto the track post spreading for today's fourth race. We start the Ultimate 6 in here. A field of 9 now. Again, a late scratch of the number 9, Smoking It Up. Also scratched the also eligibles 11, 12, 13, 14. Race 4, $16,000 maiden claiming event for 4-year-olds and up. They'll beat a mile on turf out of the homestretch starting point. Daily double, exacta, trifecta, superfecta, and pick 3 wagering. We have a super high 5. And we start the Ultimate 6. $56,866 in the jackpot carryover. Reminder, you have to be the sole winning ticket to take home the entire jackpot. It starts here in today's fourth. The horses making their way out of the turf course and approaching the starting gate. We're 2 minutes from post time, 2 minutes. The horses are approaching the starting gate, just 1 minute to post time. The horses have reached the gate. It's post time. They're lining up for today's fourth race, start of the Ultimate Six. Field of 9 set to go a mile on turf. 9-5 favorite number 2, Mucho Macho Mac. Here is Mucho Macho Mac in the house white colors to gate 2. Sulian in the house green colors to gate 5. Mucho Macho Mac going forward. Here's Frozen 4. Latin Force the next couple. Waiting on Lake Chapala. Fire Baron, they'll be the next two. The final pair will be Tizart and Kadar Indy will be all set for a start. The Ultimate Six getting underway on a Sunday. 3-2 now, Mucho Macho Max. 7-2 on Latin Force. 3-1, Frozen 4. Those are your top three choices. As we just await Kadar Indy, Vernon Bush to the outside at 20-1. Again, these first 5 races part of the semifinals out at the NHC in Las Vegas. Good luck to our Vegas horse player still alive for that $825,000 top prize. They're in the gate. And the race is on. Dominator C broke good from that inside gate between horses. Sulian flashing some early speed and Kadar Indy up from the outside. Those three are quickest through that first 16th of a mile. It's Kadar Indy, Dominator C, and Sulian across the track. They're two in front of Tizart, who's back in fourth. Lake Chapala in the blue and yellow cap down toward the inside is racing fifth. It's a break of 2 more then. Back to Frozen 4, Fire Baron. They race 6th and 7th. Latin Force and Mucho Macho Mac, 2 of the favorites, are the 2 at the back as they have 6 furlongs left to go. Sulian just in front of Kadar Indy. Dominator C, who broke with them, is now back in that second flight, joined by Lake Chapala, and on the outside, Tiz Art. 23 seconds was the opening quarter-mile time, and Kadar Indy is now countering back up front with Sulian. Those two continue to trade punches on the front end. Lake Chapala just in behind them is running along in third. Dominator C toward the inside fourth. Then comes Tiz Art. It's a length more back to Frozen 4, who's back in sixth. Latin 4 starting to march forward a little bit. Has gone by Fire Baron. Mucho Macho Mac is the trailer. 47-2 the opening half-mile time. Sulian and Kadar Indy about to be joined by Lake Chapala to the outside, and those 3 across the course. Sulian just in front, Lake Chapala right up alongside. Starting to move in tandem. Latin Force 3 wide and Frozen 4 just inside of that one. Those 2 are now third and fourth, coming after Lake Chapala and Sulian. They come to the top of the stretch. Lake Chapala, Sulian, they turn as one. They're a length and a half in front. Now Frozen 4 comes to the 3-path, 4-path, Latin Force to the far outside. Mucho Macho Mac has made up ground toward the fences, 5th. Still 3 lengths behind, though. Sulian, Lake Chapala. Frozen 4 trying to come get them in the final 16th of a mile. Lake Chapala goes narrowly to the front. Frozen 4, Sulian battling on to the inside. It's going to be Lake Chapala to win it. Lake Chapala by 3/4 of a length. Sulian, I believe, held second over Frozen 4. It was close. After that was Latin Force and Mucho Macho Mac. (136.70) final time. Here's your
5-3 out at Tampa Bay Downs, race number 4. That is Lake Chapala who gets the win there. Bet down from 10-1 on the morning line, goes off at around 2-1 when it's all said and done. So Lake Chapala, 2-1 lukewarm favorite in a race where there was a couple other 5-2 shots there, but again, not a whole lot of movement or massive prices right there at Tampa Bay Downs. So that was race number 4. Get you those prices, and we'll see if we can find any movement on the leaderboard as soon as that race goes official. We can head on over to Gulfstream Park now because we're going to be coming up on Gulfstream's next race. This one is just a minute away from race number 4 at Gulfstream Park. And I believe not long after Gulfstream runs their 4th race, we will have an interview with Danny Wolf, a friend of mine who I used to work with on the very short-lived Elite Racing Network. So we could talk with Danny. He was he's someone who I love talking about movies with also, and he was qualified this weekend. So hopefully we'll get a chance to pick his brain a little bit and talk some contest and some racing. And love hearing from all of you in the YouTube chat room with Bobby Salzano, who just sent me a really nice message over on Facebook too. Shout out to Bobby, and then to Chalkbuster Scott. They keep sharing their selections. Anyone else who's watching, who's playing along, share your selections for these next couple races coming up. So Gulfstream Park, we're looking right now at race number 4, and we're getting set for this one. My Voodoo Doll is currently even money. That's the number 2. We're going to scratch the 4 and the 8. Both of them are out. So we'll give a final look before we send it on out to Gulfstream Park. If you're looking for a quick play here, at the prices they are, the one's a tad interesting to me, even at 5-2 in this group. Can the horse just get really aggressive? Can they hold that inside position? I don't think there's a whole lot of early speed in this race. So I think we'll know early with Fulanito, the 1, if this horse can get out of the gate, if Luis Saez can get a good start, and then be right there forwardly placed and hold that inside spot, I think could be really tough to run down. So I'm going to put a few bucks to win on the 1, Fulanito, here in race number 4 at Gulfstream Park. Whoever you play, however you play them, and we wish you the best of luck. And I got a little bit of a tidbit from producer Lucia that said the number 1, Fulanito, is projected to be on the front end when you look at the Timeform US Pace Projector, diving into those all-access past performances. So shop.drf.com. If you're going to be playing maybe the mandatory payout, pick 6, race 5 at Gulfstream Park in the next race. Or how about later today, a double carryover at Santa Anita? You still got plenty of time to handicap those races. Get on over to shop.drf.com. So one last look at the odds before we send it out to Pete Aiello. Yeah, I'll take 5-2 on the 1, hoping they can get show some speed from the inside. Let's go with the 1, Fulanito. Good luck to you in race number 4 at Gulfstream.
The horses are at the gate. It's now post time. Moving in for a start, race number 4, 5 furlongs on the all-weather Tapeta track. 6 to 5, My Voodoo Doll. 5 to 2, Fulanito. Fast Fixer, Rock and Roll, Bolt to the outside. Rock and Roll, Bolt. And 5 furlongs for race 4. Blazing Bucaro still behind the gate. He makes his Tapeta track debut. Now he's locked in. Late running Rock and Roll Bolt will complete the line. Ready. And they're off. Blazing Bucaro was off slow. Off quick was Fulanito, who fires to a clear lead from between horses. Adios now. Out in the middle and moving up is Fast Fixer, trying to hold his ground. Meanwhile, it's Rock and Roll Bolt who gets started on the outside. In tight toward the inside is My Voodoo Doll, and out the back, Blazing Bucaro. To the far turn they go. The leader, Fulanito, on top by a length and a half. Rock and Roll Bolt is second. At the rail, Fast Fixer is now third, looking for some place to go. 2 back to Blazing Bucaro, circling horses into fourth. My Voodoo Doll, fifth at the inside and has to quicken. The trailer is now Adios Now. They're a quarter of a mile from home. The leader, Fulanito, on top. Paco wants off the inside with Fast Fixer. Rock and Roll Bolt has other ideas. My Voodoo Doll is next. They're an eighth of a mile from home. Fulanito leads by 2. Now loose. Fast Fixer tries to go get him. It's Fulanito just in front. Fast Fixer leveling off, but Fulanito still has a clear lead. Fast Fixer has to settle for second. Fulanito in front. Fast Fixer is second. They kicked well clear of the others. It's a picture for third. My Voodoo Doll might have got up in 55-4.
Five, then a photo for third. It's nice when a plan comes together like that. If you bet the 1, you could tell very early on when that horse caught the flyer we were in great shape. We'll give the assist to producer Lucia there, letting us know how the 1 was going to be loose on the lead in the pace projector. It's always nice when what you're seeing plays out right on the screen. So we could take a quick look in at the leaderboard right now, and we've gotten some little movement up the board for Dan. Not necessarily any big ones, but we can see Dan just kind of picking up like small place prices along the way. So Dan's up at 326.02, still a couple locked in behind at $280. And watching the movement, it gets so tight from the second spot all the way down. I mean, we're talking about the difference between 280 and 268 in spots 2 through 10, only $12, you know. So a lot of movement here. We hear Chris Griffin setting everybody up for the next race in Aqueduct. Race 4 is underway. Just to give everybody an idea of what's coming up next, we've got Fairgrounds race number 3 in 14 minutes, and we've got Oaklawn race number 3 in just about 9 minutes. So in a moment, we're going to be joined by Danny Wolf. I think he's watching a race right now because he's got something there on that one. So again, remember, you can check out this leaderboard at ntra.com. It'll continue to update all the way through. And I believe we have our next guest sitting down, a friend of mine that I got the chance to work with some years back, Danny Wolf. How's it going, Danny?
Let's talk SummerSlam.
I was going to say we could talk some wrestling, we could talk movies and production.
Yes, exactly.
But first off, let's talk a little bit about how you were qualified this weekend. So we saw you out here the last couple of days.
Yep.
Our friend Louis Masry had a really good Thursday. in the last chance contest, he almost won that thing. He was in the lead almost the whole way and finished second, right?
$14 lead with, I think, 2 races to go and finished second, lost by 35 cents.
Which you still got a nice prize.
Yeah,
for
a lot of
second,
points too.
and
Yeah,
big points for the leaderboard.
absolutely.
So talk about how did you get into horse racing? And like, how did you start playing?
Oh God, I was betting my $5 allowance at Santa Anita as a 8-year-old. You know, we'd leave Sunday school at Temple Israel of Hollywood, and my parents and grandparents would pick us up, go right to Santa Anita, and I'd be betting my allowance in the infield.
That's awesome.
So I've been betting probably since I was 7, and I'd go to Hollywood Park Harness, Los Al Harness, Los Al Quarter Horse, Santa Anita, Del Mar. Whenever I travel, I hit any racetrack. That's like a requirement. So when I travel to do work, I have to go to a racetrack. So I've been playing forever and haven't stopped.
When did you start getting into contests?
About 3 years ago. This is my 3rd straight year here, and the first year the cut line was like 100th. I finished 104th, and missed by. I'll never forget the 8-1 shot at Aqueduct with a 5-length lead mid stretch. I got caught at the wire by a 2-5. That $18.
You see that one in your nightmares, right?
And then the last leg, I was still alive, and my cat's name is Willow, and there's a horse at Oaklawn called Willow Creek Road. I don't play it; it wins at 6-1. So.
Just one of those when you're bobbing and you're weaving, right?
I don't know, as a horse player, if you're supposed to play names or not play names. Either you do or you don't. I don't.
I know. We were just talking about the Hunch plays. You missed Racing Rachel. She gave out a winner because she dropped a chicken wing on the horse, and that's the one that she picked. And it won at 7-1.
You know what? As good a way as anything. I mean, that's probably what I should be doing. Dropping my food and sauce on my racing.
Exactly. Where does it land? So.
But last year, I was in it again last year, and then I qualified this year like 8 months ago. I played the Friday tournaments on horse players, the $75 tournaments, and I finished 4th or 5th, and then the next week I finished like 3rd or 4th, but it was points. I got it on points, but I had enough points to qualify over 6 months ago.
Awesome.
So I kind of stopped playing the last few months because I had my entry.
You knew you were in.
Yeah.
So
I didn't go for a second.
What types of things are you looking at when you're playing the races? Like, what are some of your angles or horses that you like, or
I look at trouble line.
Sure.
I'm always, and then I'll watch the race because I don't always trust the racing. You got to, if you see steadied in the stretch, I want to see the steady.
You want to see it, and then other times, it's not in there too, right?
Correct.
It's like over exaggerated sometimes. So because like anything, it's humans making those comments, right?
Correct.
There could be error with any type of human, did they look at the wrong horse? Did they think something was there? Maybe that wasn't. Sometimes that happens. You're like, I don't know if that was the horse that we're watching, right?
Exactly. I look at the replays and trouble lines, and then I like second-time Lasix. I like a horse that runs badly. First-time Lasix improves. Then they bump up in class. I like second-time blinkers. I like. If a horse stinks, they put blinkers on. His buyer goes up 30, I'll bet him the next time because people might think it's a fluke and maybe it's a new horse. I always look at equipment change. First time gelding, Lasix, or blinkers is now it's a new horse. So all the previous bad race doesn't matter. This is now a new horse. So I like that angle a lot.
You are one of the most fascinating people to talk with because you are involved with like movies and TV production. You've met a lot of folks in that industry. You've been a showrunner and done a lot of different things. So I always love picking your brain, either talking about movies or talking about shows or something that you're working on. Have you been working on any projects recently, or is there anything coming up that you're excited for?
Yeah, the last few years I've been doing documentaries. I did a thing called Time Warp, the greatest cult films of all time, which is 3 parts at 6 hours. So I spent 2 years interviewing celebrities, writers, directors, and starred in cult films. And then I did Skin, a history of nudity in the movies, which is, they're all streaming. And now I'm doing the greatest sports films of all time. Wow. So we picked 25 out of like 125. It's hard to pick the greatest sports. There's some you have to put in. I mean, you're going to put The Longest Yard. You're going to put in, Hoosiers. You're going to put in Raging Bull. There's the ones, Bull Durham. There's the ones you can't not. But of course, I'll put Rollerball in there, which is the greatest movie ever made.
Absolutely.
Not the sequel, the original.
I would throw in one that people hate, like A Summer Catch with Freddie Prinze Jr. You want big rewards, you got to take big risks, So I love the cheesy stuff myself, too.
I would put Kansas City Bomber in with Raquel Welch, which is a roller derby movie and a really good movie, but that didn't make it, unfortunately. I can't put everything.
I always remember Raquel as a younger girl's journey from Milan to Minsk, right?
That's from Seinfeld.
Exactly. So.
And Larry David dropped that in one episode of Curb, by the way.
Larry David and the last few seasons of Curb were so good too.
Oh, the best.
So funny.
The best.
I would sit here and talk movies and racing and stuff with you all day long. Give anyone out there like any advice if they want to play this contest or if they want to get into playing contests. You did it kind of in a different way, but you accumulated points
Yeah.
to do so, right? What kind of a
You don't have to win tournaments.
Yeah.
You just enter and do the best you can. You can gather up points and get here today like I am without winning. But of course, if you win one, like 2 years ago, I got in because there was a Sunday tournament and they were taking the first two. And I finished second by 10 cents because Tyler Bays ran second on a 40-1 shot less. So you can get in by 10 cents
Yeah.
or 20 cents, but it's fun because if I'll play at home sometimes and it gives you something to do all day long and you can't change your bets on a lot of these, pick and praise. But it's, if you're into horse racing, get in you got to be here. If you're into horse racing, you got to be.
This is the room
you
you
got to
wanna
be in
make it
this room.
to.
Yeah, you got to be in this room. This is
Absolutely.
the mecca of horse racing, and everyone who's everyone in horse racing sitting in here, and then you just pray.
So some of you may have seen about 6-8 months we worked together on a short-lived Elite Racing Network, but it was kind of, we were talking a little bit yesterday, it was basically a show that was like a live stream show throughout the day, almost like what we're doing now, where we would talk about the races, handicap the races leading into. We'd have a bunch of different guests on, some people that are in this room, like Chris Larmy, was one of the guys that would join us a lot of the time. And it was a really fun show. It was just sort of like, couldn't get everything quite worked out. We had a small team, but we had a lot of fun. It was you and me and Louis Masri. I think Corey Black was on there too. We had Angela Herman work some shifts with us too. But we had a lot of guests on and did some really good handicapping. I met a lot of people in that time period that still interact with and still talk with now. So it's one of those experiences that I'll never forget.
Who is it? Dan Cronin?
Yep, we had a lot of different. We had Fat Bald Guy Racing, he would come join us. John Stetton, the Pick Six King, would come join us. So we had a lot of different handicappers and guests all over the place, and it was an absolute blast. So whenever we talk, you're always one of those people that I'm like, gosh, I got to talk with Danny more. It always feels like it's been too long between when we interact.
See, I'm going to have to bring you out of DRF and bring you to the World Roller Derby League. So, because now we're pitching World Roller Derby.
Okay.
There hasn't been bank track, co-ed, wrestling on wheels roller derby, not flat track girls or guys. This is old school LA T-Bird, San Francisco Bay Bomber roller derby. So we're trying to bring that back. We're pitching that now. So
love it, Danny.
You might see us again behind the mic on the bank track.
Let's do it. I'll come call that roller derby with you anytime you need. Man, thank you for sitting down and chatting with us a little bit, man. I love chatting with you. Appreciate it. Danny Wolf here. We're going to check out your documentaries too, man. You always do a great job putting stuff together. So thanks. We can show you live. Just a quick update on what's happening. Oaklawn coming up right now. Race number 3 at Oaklawn Park. So if you're playing that race, if you're looking to play that race, get your wagers in right away. And Fairgrounds right behind that. Fairgrounds 5 minutes away from race number 3. Remember, we will be finishing up in just about 15-20 minutes here, and then we're going to hand the baton off to ABR, America's Best Racing. They're going to be covering the final part of the day, where we'll see who moves into the final table. Alexa's joined the crew over there, so she's repping DRF with the friends over at ABR. So we'll be watching them in just a few minutes, but we're still here with you for a little while. We had a question that came up on the YouTube. It was from William, and what's really cool, Matt had already answered it for him, which I love. Matt Smith, you're doing my job. Thank you very much. But they had asked what races are going to be used for the final table. So if you're curious what the final table, like mandatory races are for today, Aqueduct Race 7, Gulfstream Race 8, Tampa Race 9, Oaklawn Race 8, Gulfstream Race 10, Oaklawn Race 9, and then Santa Anita Race 6. And you can find all of those at NTRA.com, along with the leaderboard that's and everything you need information for this tournament. We will have a written recap for you a little later on the DRF website. So if there's any typos or anything in that recap that's wrong, please be kind. It's going to be my first written assignment for DRF, recapping the final here, the final table. We'll get some thoughts from the winner there. So be kind. If I don't spell stuff right or if I'm making some mistakes, it's Jody's fault. It's not mine. We can blame it on Jody. Okay. Who I'm sure he's smiling right now. One of our great editors over there at DRF. So final table races, you can find those on NTRA. Let's go over to Tampa Bay Downs. Let's take a look at Tampa as we get you set for their next race. We can handicap that one and we can get you set because we're only 5 minutes away at Tampa Bay Downs. I think they're just coming out onto the track for a post parade. So we can kind of talk a little bit through this field as we look at the 1, Sippin' Speed, who's going to start things out from the inside at 6-1. I like the number 2 in here, though, Full Exchange. This is going to be my play. If you're someone who likes to watch replays, you still have 5 minutes. You can go back and watch this replay of the number 2, Full Exchange, in their most recent race. I really, really liked that effort from Full Exchange. It was a troubled trip. So it was on October 26th. It was actually the only turf race that Full Exchange has ever raced. I'm not even really caring about the February race because that was the first start back after a few months, and the horse was really wide and just packed it in. Now, getting back to the grass, the only time Full Exchange ran on the grass, got floated out into the turn, made an early 4-wide move up to within a half length, and it was still 3 deep just off the leaders, got bumped wide at the top of the lane, kind of shifted inside, kept trying. There was a lot going on in that race for a horse making their first start on the turf, but I thought this horse still was trying at the end. She still was trying to pick up pieces, not packing it in. Blinkers come off for Full Exchange. You can hear the excitement in the background as they are coming to the wire at Oaklawn Park. Matt Dinnerman calling the races for you over there at Oaklawn Park. And we have another favorite, the number 5, Moon Over Choctaw, 8-5, getting the win at Oaklawn Park in race number 3. If you have any selections, if you agree with me coming up in Tampa Bay Downs race number 5, or if you're looking in a different direction, we would love to hear from you, showing you some graphics. And some of the graphics that we're showing you, sometimes we have the figures. If you followed along with us on the Sports Grid show, we're showing you sometimes the Timeform US profile cards. Remember, you can get the Timeform US information as part of the Daily Racing Form All Access past performances, and we've actually sort of tweaked the formatting of some of those now. You can get like an all-day pass. Say today you're just joining us, you want to play some races, but you haven't looked at a bunch of tracks, go get that all-day pass, because then you can bounce around to all these different tracks. Maybe you don't like some of the races at one track. It didn't waste any money paying for the past performances for those. And we still have Santa Anita and that double carryover coming up in a little bit. My buddy Tyler over there walked over to me and said, we're firing at that double carryover a little bit later on today. I said, absolutely. That's Tyler Frasto over there from First Racing, who we talked all about how to qualify for this big event through ExpressBet and through all of those ExpressBet contests and the feeders each and every day, especially on the weekends, big ones at Santa Anita, big ones at Gulfstream Park. So we'll be firing away at Santa Anita a little bit later on. Hopefully we can make some money right here at Tampa Bay Downs with Full Exchange, the number 2. So Scott and Matt and all the folks, really appreciate you hanging out with us today in the YouTube. And make sure to continue to watch for ABR when they pick up the live stream in just a little bit. We'll get back out.
The horses have reached the gate. It's post time. They're lining up now for today's 5th race, started at late pick 5. Field of 12 here on the turf at 1 mile and a 16th. Post time favorite number 8, Whirlwind at 2-1, right at that morning line. 9-2 on the 4, New Way, also at the morning line. 7-2 out wide, Centella. Here is Whirlwind moving up. Full Exchange has got in. Power Party, My Fine Aqualine going to be the next 2. Go-Go Boots out to gate 10. Pedro Cotto Jr. Chelsea Moisey, a 62-1 long shot. Here's New Way, Cipriano Gill for Gerard Ochoa. Gerard, our Mother's Kitchen Trainer of the Month award winner this past week. Here's Money Trail. Money Trail coming forward along with Centella. We're waiting on So Much Jazz, and Come A Waltzing will be all set for a start. Today's late pick 5. Here's So Much Jazz. Come A Waltzing. Marcos Meneses to the outside. Come A Waltzing coming in. They're in the gate. Go-Go Boots rearing up momentarily, but settles down. And the race is on. Good start in the center for So Much Jazz, who was away quickly. Down to that one's inside Power Party, but it's So Much Jazz who's going to go to the early lead. Power Party in that second flight with JoJo's God. Up from the far outside, Centella is now moving into that second position. As they come by us the first time, it's So Much Jazz and Sonny Leone just in front of JoJo's Gone, Power Party, Centella going to be 4 wide as they run to that turn. Sipping Speed down toward the inside, starts to advance from 5th. Full Exchanges between runners. Then comes Whirlwind in the red colors, who's racing about 7th. Length and a half after that, back to New Way. Go-Go Boots, they're 8th and 9th. They're 2 in front of Come A Waltzing in 10th. It's another half length to My Fine Aqualine in the orange in 11th, and it's 4 more back to Money Trail, who's the early trailer, 12th and last, and about 15 off the lead, set by So Much Jazz. 23-1, the opening quarter mile. So Much Jazz onto the back stretch in front by 2.5. Down toward the inside at second is Power Party. Advancing up between horses there is JoJo's Gone. To the far outside, Full Exchange has made his way toward the 3 path. Sipping Speed down toward the inside, advances into 4th as JoJo's Gone starts to back up, being passed also by Whirlwind in the red colors, who's up to 5th. So they got that opening half at 48-1. So Much Jazz to the far turn. Full Exchange right up alongside now. They're 2 clear of Sipping Speed. Power Party, Whirlwind out wide, starting to gain up on the far outside as they come around to the top of the stretch. Full Exchange, So Much Jazz, Whirlwind cruising up to their outside, and Whirlwind running right to the lead. It's Whirlwind quickly in front by a length and a half to Full Exchange. So Much Jazz, their left back, second and third. Sipping Speed trying to move up the inside. Power Party, Centella, late run from Money Trail, who was last early on, is running down the center of the course, but Whirlwind is up front by 5. Whirlwind, Sammy Camacho looking for his 3rd on the day. Money Trail up to 2nd. Whirlwind, an easy winner here. Money Trail did get up for 2nd. Then came Centella, Power Party, and Come A Waltzing.
Eight, 5, 11 out there at Tampa Bay Downs. I believe that's the 3rd win on the card already for jockey Sammy Camacho. As we heard Jason Beam give that information, horse that was coming over from Southern California. You know, a lot of times we will critique rides when we lose and we think it was a bad ride, or, you know, a jockey may have not done what you were hoping they would have done on a horse. I gotta say, I bet the 2 Full Exchange, and the horse didn't really fire that well. I thought the ride was fantastic because Full Exchange was kind of stuck in a bad spot, made an early move to the lead. That was their only chance. If you were waiting behind horses, you never would have had a shot. I know the horse faded, but I love, as a gambler, that they gave me a chance there. They gave me a chance to win the race. Absolutely love that, even though the 8 won the race easily. So we'll check in on the leaderboard one more time. And do want to say a big thank you to everyone who was hanging out with us. Chalkbuster Scott said, Gene, I'll see you this week. I'm going to get my hat. So make sure you come over and comment on one of our videos, Scott, and we'll send it on out to you. But looking at the leaderboard right now, Dan, can he just keep rolling along with it? Dan sitting up about $45 ahead of the second place finisher as we are about halfway through the optional races in the morning. So remember the way that things are going to play out over the next few hours. There were 19 optional races this morning that everybody had to play 10 of those 19. Following that, the final 10 people, the top 10 out of the 80 that are sitting in this room right now, they will make the final table. And on that final table, everybody has to play the same races. So that final table all has the same races that start at Aqueduct race number 6. That's around 12:48. So about 50 minutes or so from right now. If you're in the contest or if you know someone who's in the contest and they're still alive, we wish them the best of luck. We thank you all so much for coming and hanging out with us here today. Remember, our stream is finishing up, but there's still going to be great live coverage from America's Best Racing. They're going to be taking over, and they'll be getting you all ready for that final table. Once this tournament's all said and done, head to drf.com. We'll recap the tournament for you. We'll give you some details on the winner, let you know what the top 10 looked like, how much money they all earned. We got a big round of applause for the folks here in the background. Again, thank everybody. Thank you to Lucia, to producer Mike, to producer Rich, to producer Bobby. Alexa was here with us, and to all of the guests who just took a few minutes out of their busy schedules. They're so focused on the contest. We always appreciate any of you that just take a minute out of your busy schedules. So thanks so much. And we want you to get to shop.drf.com for anything you need. We also have to give the biggest thanks of all to our sponsor, our presenting sponsor, Horseshoe Indianapolis. We got the chance to interact with Rachel a few times and Eric, who do such a great job over at Horseshoe Indianapolis, and their big meet will be coming up very soon. So I hope you all have a great rest of your Sunday. Let's see who wins this big tournament, NHC 2025, that final table coming up very soon.